All right, folks. It seems the Serbians got to us again. All right. We just
Nikola
mentioned.
Jokic's brother got to us.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, we were talking about Australia being the real MVPs. Or is it MVP singular? I'm not sure. I don't know how you would.
The country itself, what I think would be singular.
Yeah. So,
The
anyway.
people of Australia would be MVP. So the deciding committee who deported him would be the MVPs, and
Yeah.
then the Australia itself would be an MVP.
Yeah. So, yeah. So Novak Djokovic, he's gone. He's it. So that's it. And it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny to see an athlete being.
You
kicked
remember in
out
It's
of,
Always Sunny with Charlie and Mac are boohooing crying?
Oh
When they're
yeah,
in the
yeah,
clubhouse?
yeah. When Dean and Dennis got hooked on crack.
Crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly how it feels like for me.
That's great. Oh man.
Oh, you're not gonna be able to play the Australia Open.
Yeah. Well.
Where does Djokovic even rank anyway?
Well,
He's number one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
That
oh, you clown.
he's won. I think he does have the record for the most Grand Slams won for a male
Tied.
tennis player. He's tied with it now.
He's tied.
He's tied with it. So
He's tied with Federer and Nadal.
okay, and Nadal's still playing. He's older.
So
of
is
course.
Federer, although
Oh yeah, that's right. Federer.
his knees are
Yeah, though they're
shot.
older. They're older. So, but yeah, Djokovic is losing his shot at actually making that record, being out of being the sole owner of that record. He's banned for 3 years from Australia, so he can't go back
Oh,
for 3 years.
really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
he's
what a
he's not.
joke.
So it's 4 Australian Opens because you've got this one that he's missing,
Mm-hmm.
and then the 2023, 24, and 25.
Yeah. And he's 34 right now, so we're 3 years. He'll be
Last year was
37.
probably his last Australian Open.
So it's 37 when he's, unless he has I don't know, like unless he conditions like a LeBron or a Tom Brady or something like that. It's going to be difficult, and there people are even writing articles about future problems if he tries to go to France, which is French Open, which is another one of the Grand Slams.
Don't forget New York. Don't forget New York.
And New York, because Kyrie is having issues with that, so he potentially won't be able to get any more aside from Wimbledon. But that doesn't count as a Grand Slam. He needs to win all 4. So,
no. It's how many Grand Slam events he's won.
Oh, events he won. Oh, I thought he was. I thought it was like Tiger Woods when he had the Tiger Slam, or I think Serena Williams has had a Grand Slam in a single year.
It's extraordinarily rare to win all 4 in one calendar year.
Right.
It's relatively easy. He's won 20 of these.
This is how much we know about tennis. We're talking about tennis, but okay. So it's the actual event. So the Big Four. The Big Four. Mm-hmm.
You've got the Australian Open in Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the U.S. Open in New York, Flushing, more specifically. You've got Wimbledon in London, and then you've got the French Open in Roland Garros. Garros.
Yep.
I am believe it. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I am the tennis expert among the 3 of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I play Wii tennis.
Yeah, we play a lot of Mario tennis. That's for sure.
Mario tennis. Mario Tennis Aces, man. I know a slice.
But as you all know, Mario isn't about that. He hangs out with Rafael Nadal. Okay. They did a commercial together. Okay. That's Nadal knows what's up. Mario knows what's up. He's not going to do anything with the Parasaurolophus. Of course not. Okay. Only dinosaur he messes with is Yoshi. That's it. That's who he hangs with. And
You don't
yeah,
play with that.
no, and so yeah, so he's gone. He's out. He's banned for 3 years. That's funny, man. That was really funny. Oh boy. So yeah, real MVP, the country of Australia. Yeah, way to go, guys. You did it. Oh, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Well, I will just add this. I really hope that Federer or Nadal wins another. And
I mean, their chances have gone up now that Djokovic is out of at least one event.
And my hope is that he doesn't, either he never wins another, that would be ideal.
That'd be fun.
Or if he does win another, he never matches, he never gets the record outright. Because fuck that guy.
Well, I mean, to give context, this is also a little bit of heat to him for lying about being positive. I don't know if he lied about being positive, but he tested positive and then still showed up, right? If I remember
Correct.
the reports correctly.
Yeah.
So that's kind
At
of
a fucking photo shoot.
Yeah.
So
just because you're okay, kid, doesn't mean the person that you're going to give it to is okay with it.
yeah.
Just remember that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's fun. That's a good one. And what was I gonna mention? It was in my head and it left my head, and it'll return at some point. Oh yeah, so baseball, it's not looking great. They're in negotiations still. Well, they finally started negotiations. That's some semi plus, and I don't know if you guys have seen some of these proposals that they've put out there.
I know that the players laughed at it.
Yeah, so MLB proposals. So I just want to see what the last one is. But of course, Major League Baseball wants to expand the postseason. They want more teams to participate because I think they've been obviously look at the NHL and the NBA, who both leagues have 16 teams participate in each. And they looked at the NFL, who have expanded their playoff. Heck, the NBA did it too, because now they have the play-in for the 7 and 8 seeds. So that's gonna continue. More teams in the playoffs, more teams that can claim that they're in the playoffs, obviously. And the NHL flirted with it during the bubble back in 2020. But I don't know if they'll go back to that. I think they kind of like where they're at with that. But baseball wants to expand it, and they're preparing their next response. The Players Association are, of course, going to be focusing on things that kind of remove limitations to free agency. Players are, of course, always accusing the owners of doing things that will lessen their value or lessen the amount of money they want to spend, like the luxury tax for certain teams that spend too much. They, of course, want a minimum payroll, so basically a salary floor like in the NHL, where teams have to spend to a certain amount. I think Major League Baseball wanted to change to a draft lottery instead of a straight up tanking situation. Although teams still tank, it doesn't really matter, I think. And of course, the players have accused the owners of doing things to the baseballs over the last few years. And they've accused them of that because it seems that whenever there's a bunch of high value pitchers that are about to hit the market, they add a little more bounce and pop to the baseball. And then when there's a bunch of high value hitters that are about to hit free agency, they deaden the ball. So that's kind of what's going on right now. Of course, that's that kind of, I don't know why the owners are kind of sort of shooting themselves in the foot in a way, but of course revenues in baseball keep getting higher every year, aside from the last couple of years because of pandemic. So it would seems that the players are trying to get in on things returning to where they were, where the owners are making more money, even with less people watching baseball. But we'll see. They're gonna put out their new proposal, see what they want to say, and the owners are probably gonna scoff at it. I don't think we're getting a full season this year.
No,
honestly,
not a chance.
Because we are basically a month away from normally when pitchers and catchers report.
Yeah. And
they just really started talking. Now, I, of course, wanted the baseball season to be shortened anyways. But I don't think anybody's going to go for that. And of course, this all comes with both teams playing hardball. Both, like, there are, I don't know if you guys have heard the stories of basically management or anybody that works technically for a Major League Baseball team cannot converse or speak to players. No coaches, no trainers, no nothing. There was a story of one guy whose brother is a player in Major League Baseball, and I think he's like a manager of a minor league team or something like that, or a coach. And they literally could not spend Christmas together because they cannot talk to each other. That's how.
I find that so fucking ridiculous. I get it's the rule, but come on.
I don't know. It's the, I don't know if it's an unwritten rule. It might be. I'm not sure. It's an unwritten rule there.
I think in theory, it's just like tampering in the NBA. You just can't do it in reference. You know, if it's outside the work sphere, you know, you should be fine.
Yeah, and I don't know enough about labor law to know what the consequences of that would be.
But it's like any other kind of litigation of, is this really the hill that you want to die on?
Yeah, conflicts of interest, things like that. So that's...
I think they were probably cracking a few brews on New Year's, but that's just me.
Yeah, so now we're getting, of course, the players are showing them, you know, with their Instagram accounts or whatever, them working out and everything like that. And all the sites on Major League Baseball, any active players, they've removed all of their profiles from the MajorLeagueBaseball.com. So MLB.com has nothing on any players. It's all just the blank silhouette. So that's what's going down with them. It's as if they don't exist. And you'll notice if your favorite team, if you follow their Twitters, they're posting all their social media stuff. They're posting stuff that has really nothing to do with getting ready for the next season or anything like that. They're just kind of posting, hey, you guys remember when we did this, you know, in the past? And, hey, guys, we're out in the community, and that come buy the new hats. We got new hats, you know, and come on over to buy tickets for opening day. I always find that pretty funny. You know, I've seen this. We've seen this in hockey. We've seen this in NBA. We've seen this in NFL. I don't think the NFL has missed games in a long, long time with regards to work stoppages. The NBA did back in 2012. The NHL did back in 2012-13. And, of course, the entire 2004-05 season was gone. So we've seen it in the NHL. And, you know, people are thinking the owners are going to threaten to completely cancel the season. And they're like, well, look what happened to the NHL. It took them a long time to kind of regain popularity after losing the entire season. They were on the Outdoor Life Network. Because everybody dropped them. Every major network dropped them after that. So, and baseball was pretty bad after the strike in '94. But if it leads to a steroid era-esque home run extravaganza like in '98, I think I'd be for it. You know, make every field Coors Field. I'd be down for that. That's when I fell in love with baseball. I think a lot of us did. So, I don't know. I guess we kind of said all our opinions on that stuff.
I have one about baseball. Carlos Correa, hire Scott Boras to be his agent now, which totally means he's going to sign with the Yankees because Boras just whores it to us all the time. And I don't think I want to pay that man big money on a prorated. Forget the cheating scandal aside and the arrogance. I don't think I want to pay anybody that big amount of money if they're going to ask in a prorated season that's shorted. And I think that's what a lot of hesitation is going to come from ownership, because they know if they're like ripping the nose to spite the face kind of mindset, is that, damn, if we better hope that we lose the season to Spurs to make the players look bad, because what's going to happen is that if we are on point, we got to pay a lot of people, new monies, new revenues that'll be in effect, or we'll have to do how we did with the COVID season and inflate that payroll to a percentage of what they had. And if you're negotiating at the table, wouldn't you want more money in those first 2 years at least, instead of just kind of getting a pro rate? And I think that's what they're kind of scared of. Like, hey, don't devalue my thing. Sure, give me a $300 million contract out 10 years, for example. But those first 2 years, because I'm losing out on what my value is because of shortened season, I need you to make that a big time first year money. And say what you will, but to prorate it from, let's say, to give an example, first year would be normal 30 on a Carlos Correa contract. But let's say you're going to lose money coming into it. And if you're an agent, I would advocate the hell of it. You two would as well. It'd be like, listen, it's not our fault that why should he take less because the season. We want at least this first year contract to go from 30 to like 35 to 40 million just for year one. That's a lot of money. It's millions, and we're so used to it because of sports, but holy crap. And I could see that being a fair argument. That's just me thinking like an agent. Maybe that's the course in life that we ought to take, right? Forget the whole doing good in the world. Let us just kind of hire us, Carlos Correa. I don't like you, but I like money, and you like money. Let's make money.
Yeah, it's in kind of to the point as far as the owners. I think these last 2 years, they've kind of seen how much money they can lose with no games and no people in attendance and things like that. And maybe it's given them kind of an idea as to whether they can make this sacrifice of losing potentially an entire season or having a completely shortened season that starts in July. I think they might be doing those numbers and we're like, we lost money, but I think we could take this hit if in the long run the players bow down to some of the big things that they want. So that in a weird way, that might be the reason why they've gone with this lockout strategy right now, is they've seen the numbers of no baseball and little to no fans, and they're like, we didn't lose that much, or we can take this hit for all of us collectively for one more year. They kind of have it planned out anyways like that. And I was like, okay, 2023 is when they'll go hard on reopening ballparks, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what letter in the Greek alphabet we are in COVID versions, but it's hopefully we're not going down far. And yeah, so that's I think that also has played into why we're at this point. Okay. All right, guys, what else do you want to talk about? I literally have nothing.
Well, since we are kind of on the topic of NFL, some news just came up that actually transcends NFL and also goes to college, which is more my area of expertise. Apparently, an inside source told The Athletic that if Jim Harbaugh is offered the Los Angeles, it's so weird calling them the Los Angeles Raiders, although not as weird as calling them the Las Vegas. No, damn it, it's the Las Vegas Raiders. Son of a bitch.
They should be the Los Angeles Raiders.
See, I can't even get the wrong city right. Yeah. They should still be in Oakland.
Or at least LA. Jeez, at least LA.
At least LA.
Nobody wants the Chargers there.
Fuck you, Spanos. Anyway, Jim Harbaugh, if offered the Las Vegas Raiders job, he might take it. Now, Jim Harbaugh is currently the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines, had their best season under his reign so far. They made it to the college football playoff, the top 4, where they immediately got the shit kicked out of them by the eventual champion Georgia Bulldogs. I was there for that one. But and actually, as an aside, speaking of that game, which was the Orange Bowl, I finally got to wear my sweater.
Yeah.
I got a mini swag package for being media. We got a tumbler and we got a sweatshirt that says Orange Bowl playoff semifinal.
Nice.
So I finally got to wear it. Holy shit. I didn't think I'd have to wear that until be able to wear that for like a year. But anyway, that would be big. That would be big news because Harbaugh just bought himself a few more years of goodwill with up in Ann Arbor, because he's been on a perpetual hot seat for the past pretty much since like 2016.
Yeah, I mean, he took over that job, and they've had good teams. It's not like he's been awful. I mean, it's just that they could never get past Ohio State.
Right. They prior to this season, they hadn't beaten Ohio State in 10 years.
And people asked Stephen Ross, because Stephen Ross is the Miami Dolphins owner. There's a vacancy, and he is a very notable Michigan alum who's donated a lot of money to them. And he kind of sort of was like, I'm not going to be the one to take Harbaugh away from Michigan. So I don't know if his love for his college is getting in the way of that, which would be very
part of it.
Would be very Miami Dolphins of him to be like, yeah, there's a better the best head coach that's out there right now, but I'm not going to hire him because he went to my school, which benefits my team in no way whatsoever. So it's very Dolphins.
I mean, but it's not like Harbaugh's a bad coach, though. So, like, it's not as if they're clicking into a Hugh Jackson logic.
No, but I'm saying the Dolphins getting Harbaugh would probably be the best solution. Like, hey, best coaching candidate out there is this guy for an NFL team. I mean, did well in San Francisco.
But Tua is a Kaepernick-ish kind of style player, right?
Yeah, I mean, he could find, like, Harbaugh's a good coach. He's a good coach. He's done well, in Stanford and with frickin' the 49ers and now here with Michigan. He's done well everywhere he's gone. He's one of the few coaches that has had success in both the NFL and college. So, it's not like Urban Meyer.
I mean, are you really gonna be hurt by going for Harbaugh? So the answer is no. However, if anything, it's just going to kill Stephen Ross if he's over in Oakland. And then,
yeah,
not even Oakland. I'm sorry, Las Vegas. You couldn't sell the team that didn't have anybody drunk drive or high under the influence killing somebody, and Mark Davis and his ugly ass haircut over you in Miami, where the worst thing's going to happen is maybe you might pull an Urban Meyer Grindfest if you're that kind of moral people. You who survived Jed York in San Francisco and all the controversies that came between, and you were smart enough to leave, and even had more wherewithal to stay in Michigan, which was hoping for a new kind of savior that they couldn't find. Rich Rodriguez and a few other guys that were trying to place into the Michigan time frame. How would you feel as Stephen Ross? You have to hate yourself, right? To an all degree. And here's the thing, too. You couldn't get a guy who, all intents and purposes, is extremely likable in all places. Hell, he was going to go big against homeboy. I forgot his name, but the coach in Detroit. Remember when they were chest bumping? It was like, all right, I forgot his name. But
Dan Campbell?
It was no, not Dan Campbell.
Oh.
Not Dan Campbell. I'm talking about when it was... He was a defensive coordinator. I of course forget the name, but there was that controversy about shaking hands, not shaking hands aggressively, and then they're all like, puffing chest out, trying to go on each other. Gosh, it's hysterical. It's going to bother me. It's going to bother me, and I will find out that name off site. But, Jim Harbaugh he's not John Harbaugh, but he's Jim Harbaugh. And here's the thing, too. Jim Harbaugh can definitely get the free agents as well. And what does Miami desperately need? free agents who actually do good free agent things. That would drive me up a wall.
Yeah. Yeah, well.
And it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate if for some
Jim
reason,
Schwartz. I'm sorry, it was Jim Schwartz and the slap on the back handshake that made him lose his shit.
If for some reason Miami were to get Harbaugh, it'd be unfortunate if it would be unfortunate that you guys didn't get the number 1 overall pick, because guess who's the projected number 1 overall pick? Aiden Hutchinson, who played for Michigan this year.
Well, the Dolphins traded away their first round pick for this upcoming draft.
I know,
yeah,
but also from what I've heard, this is one of those years where there's not a solid,
like a definitive. Hey, this is the consensus guy to pick.
Like last year was Trevor Lawrence. If you didn't pick Trevor Lawrence, you would probably lose your job if you were whoever.
Jacksonville.
Well, someone did pick Trevor Lawrence and still lost it.
I forget who Jacksonville's GM is.
Just they didn't fire him, but it's Jed York, man. I think.
Oh,
I think it's Jed York who's doing it too. One of the former 49ers guys.
Hey, there's a vacancy in Jacksonville as well.
Hold on, let me. I feel that you need to be right.
Compelled to.
No, Jed York is
for
still. Yeah, Jed York's still in the 49ers, but it's one of the guys who used to be there. So y'all do your thing. I'm going to go investigate my ish.
Okay, let me put Jaguars GM
Trent
here.
Balk, who was also also the executive. Balky.
Oh, that's how you call him. I don't know names. To me, I feel like Balky should be EE, and then Balky, how it spells BAALKE.
Oh, all right. Okay, well, so that's the Jim Harbaugh news. He's out there. I mean, whoever hires, would they have to pay Michigan anything if they hire him, or
probably. Well, wouldn't he have to technically pay it out, because he's not going school to school, unless there's a clause that says if you jump ship, you owe us this amount of money. Because there's no, I don't know of any professional teams that pay out a college buyout, right? Usually it's the individual contract, because that's your breach of contract.
Maybe, unless he has an actual clause that says, hey, if he can back out with any certain amount of years left on it, then maybe. Seems like it. And at that point, because Michigan wanted him, so he might have been able to call his shot with regards to negotiating his contract. So I would highly doubt that he would have a clause, that he wouldn't have a clause there that says I can back out of this at any point in time or whatever. Things are
as much as he could call the shots with the contract, Michigan would be insane if they would let him go
for nothing.
Well, for nothing to a college team.
Mm-hmm. The NFL is a different.
NFL is a bit
story.
Different.
He's gonna get more money. That's one thing. Mike Davis and his weird ass haircut is gonna let him just kind of construct whatever roster he wants without any incentive. There's not gonna be drama.
One thing working in Harbaugh's favor is that he has been in and succeeded in the NFL.
Yeah, even his final season,
which is very hard to do. He's one. It's one of the few coaches that's been able to do that, and because a lot of the times with the head coaches coming from college.
But got you, Bobby Petrino and Urban Meyer.
I mean, Nick Saban wasn't even able to do it.
Well, Nick Saban wasn't
Nick went what, 1 year?
2 seasons, I think, in Miami, right?
2 seasons?
Yeah, I think like 2 seasons. I think he went 9-7 one of those years. But of course, the Dolphins are the Dolphins. They had no quarterback. Whatever. We didn't get Drew Brees. Got Dante Culpepper.
Poor Dante.
That was, I think, a lot of Dolphins fans feel that was the kind of the point in time that changed the Dolphins' trajectory. Like if they had gone with Drew Brees, the Dolphins would have been one way, but they went the other way instead. You know,
which is such a silly thing for
Yeah.
a fan base to harbor on, because here's the thing: Drew Brees, his success has been predicated really on that coach in Sean Payton. Receivers came and went: Marcus Colston, Lance Moore, all these other guys, wild players everyone remember forget coming into it, and then now you have Michael Thomas. But it was really more Payton to Brees, and even if you fired, what's his name? The people that you would have fired, Saban, the people that you would have hired in between, going from Sperano, Cameron, let's say all those guys came into play, I can guarantee you the schemes and the concepts, no matter how good of a player that he is, what's going to happen is Breeze in his career in Miami would have been Mark Bulger. Guarantee it.
Ooh. Damn, that's a name.
I'm just saying, because that's what happens when you
That's a
have
name.
good
Yeah,
quarterbacks who are
That's a
too
name.
late to
Did we
leave.
do a player remember forget?
We
with Mark
did,
Bulger?
because
Yeah.
we respect Mark Bulger up in my
I
house.
forgot. I forgot the remembered player. Okay. Damn, that's a name.
Well, I gave you a couple of them.
Yeah. Oh,
Lance
it's
Moore
funny
could
when
definitely be one of them.
when I search Trent Baalke, you see all right there. You see Jed York, you see Shahid Khan, you see Urban Meyer all down there. Those are the people he's associated with. So, oh boy. Well, all right. What else do you guys want to talk about? Because I literally have nothing. I have nothing. I mean, we want to talk about hockey. Charles, you actually looked up hockey stuff.
I looked up stats. I want to see what my boy Brad Marchand's doing.
All right, so
Bruins,
NHL, let's go. I've had a busy week, guys, so I just at work, so I just kind of haven't been keeping track of a lot of things. And yeah, we were talking about the Panthers, and look, like I love the Panthers. I love my team, but they have problems when they're not at home. That seems to be the most glaring weakness of the Florida Panthers, is when they're at home, they are just killing it. They were destroying teams on this last homestand. Okay, they won a game 9-2 against the Blue Jackets. They just absolutely pour it on. But on the road, it's a whole different story. They lost to Calgary last night. They gave up 5 goals to them. I think it was a 5-2 score, if I'm not mistaken. So it's different on the road. It's their most glaring weakness. They're 8-1-1 in their last 10, which is great and all, but the road games have just been that's the Achilles heel of the team, is playing on the road. So the Lightning are ahead of them in the division by points, 59-57. Panthers have 2 games in hand. The Leafs have, holy crap, they have 5 games in hand on Tampa with 51 points. So they got a lot of games to make up. The Leafs are it's a 3-dog race right here. It's Tampa, Florida, and Toronto. Boston's bringing up the rear. They played a little bit better as of late. They're 8-2 in the last 10. They were kind of struggling there, kind of hanging on to one of the wild card spots, but they've been playing better as of late. And the Detroit Red Wings aren't too bad. They're not too shabby. They're still rebuilding. But Stevie Y is getting them back to relevancy. I think they might be able to steal a wild card spot if they can kind of put it together, because they're not far away from Boston, who holds that bottom wild card spot. All right, and then we got the Buffalo Sabres are the Buffalo Sabres. Nobody cares. The Ottawa Senators are the Ottawa Senators. Nobody cares. And Montreal Canadiens are awful. They are fighting for the top pick, or top percentage for the lottery. They are a lottery team. They are awful. They're awful. Metro Division, Carolina Hurricanes are killing it, and so are the New York Rangers and the Washington Capitals. But the Penguins are they haven't gone away. The Penguins have not gone away. It is the team just they haven't been. They just keep going. They just keep going. They're one of those teams that doesn't need to rebuild as long as they got their anchors of Crosby, basically Crosby, Malkin, those guys. But they've put together a good team. So it's the Metro Division has 4 teams vying for its division crown. So, but the New York Rangers being back is, I guess it's good for hockey. You know, they're not as. It's not like when Knicks fans are. Rangers fans are annoying as hell too, but not as bad as the Knicks fans when their team actually does good, which is very rare. All right, and then we got the Blue Jackets. They're not great. Neither are the Flyers, but they're from Philadelphia, so of course they're frauds. And the Devils, and the Islanders are not doing well at all. They've opened their new arena, and they're a dud. They're a dud this season, but they've played 32 games. Once more, I've said this before. Every time we've talked about hockey this year, this whole COVID thing has kind of, a lot of teams have not been playing games, have been playing games. The Islanders have only played 32 games this year. They played, I think they played on the road for like the first 2 months of the season because their arena was still being built, and it's been a weird season for them. But they're at 32 points in 32 games, so they're at 500, and they've got, let's say, their division, top of the division is Carolina. They've got a long way to go, but like Tampa's played 41 games, so if they can find a way to have a good streak of games, they're 7-2-1 in their last 10. So it's not. I think the Islanders have enough talent to kind of turn it around in the second half, and they have a lot of games in hand. They have a lot of games that they can. They just haven't. They're well rested, so there's a possibility they can do it. On to the West, Colorado Avalanche. I keep picking them every season to freaking win the West. They might actually do it, but every time I say so, something goes wrong in the playoffs. But they're leading the Central Division. The Blues are doing well. The Preds are doing well too, but they've lost the last 4 games. Minnesota has fallen. They were doing pretty well to start off the season, but they've let other teams pass them. Colorado had a ton of games in hand, and I said beforehand that, look, they have a ton of games in hand. They are way too talented to be down there around the 5th or 4th place in their division. Once they start actually playing games, they're going to make up for it in a big way, and look at that. They're in first place with 53 points, 36 games played, which is they still have games in hand on the other two teams below them. So and Minnesota does as well, but it's really Colorado that's taking advantage of it. And I kind of felt like that was going to happen, and it has. So my intuition has been true. And I've said this before, so I should get myself a Charles Stradamus shirt on our merch store at some point, because I feel a little Charles Stradamus there with my NHL predictions there. Dallas, Winnipeg, Chicago, and the Coyotes. Coyotes are awful. They're fighting Montreal for that bottom pick, and I don't know what the heck is going to happen in Arizona. That team is awful. There's no interest. They're in the Central Division now. And
see, this is where it confuses me, because you made me learn new divisions last year.
Yeah.
When they did everything for COVID. And, I'm like, all right, we're going to be invested. And I'm looking at these standings yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, what's that? And then what's the wild card standings? Because finally, after 3 years, I retained OTLs. I retained points. I know why that matters and everything like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? What are these 4 divisions? What the hell? 5, 6, whatever. I'm like, I'm a simpleton, man. Straight up. Unfortunately, I'm not simping for hockey yet. Give it time.
Yeah.
You can be a simp for hockey too, kids, with ESPN.
Yeah, ESPN Plus, TV. I haven't really watched much of TBS's or TNT's NHL coverage to compare it to and NHL on NBC, but I've been busy with work and stuff lately, so I'll start watching a little more lately. I've been watching Panthers games, and once again, they've been killing it at home, but on the road, it's just not good. Yeah, but the Coyotes, I don't know what's going to happen with that team. They are tailor-made to be moved to like Houston or something right now. because and I don't know what's going to happen with their arena situation, but
You would kind of wish that the Kraken were doing well.
And Phoenix the Suns have solved their arena issues because they're just going to renovate the home that they have, and that's not unless they do like a Seattle Kraken type of renovation of the old arena to make it hockey compatible. But that's probably not going to happen. Phoenix isn't going to pay for that, and the Suns don't want to share with the Coyotes anyways. So, and most likely their management group runs the arena like most teams have. So it's not looking great. The Coyotes need to find a home because Glendale's not going to renew the lease. So, all right, Vegas Golden Knights, first place. Another team that I kind of felt like they're too good to be struggling this early on. They'll make it up eventually, and they have. But the team that's surprising me are the LA Kings. How they have been able to kind of keep it there. The Pacific Division's slightly weaker than other divisions of hockey, but it's been interesting. The California teams have been revived. LA, Anaheim, and San Jose are all right there next to each other. They've all been pretty consistent with the games that they've been playing. 40, 41 games there. It's really the Canadian teams that kind of been behind with the COVID outbreaks and restrictions and that. Seattle's at the bottom of the division, expansion team. They're not good. So they're not going to recreate the magic that Vegas did in their first season. And they're just a regular expansion team. And they're just going to hope that they tank enough that they can get the top draft pick next season. So, and we're in the off season. And yeah, the Oilers have 5 games in hand. They were doing well early on in the season, but they have a 6-game losing streak. It's I don't know. Edmonton's kind of a weird team where they can be good, but they never seem to have enough to. I mean, they have Connor McJesus, and we all get that, and Leon Draisaitl. That's fine and all, but
I'm actually, when you're finished with this, I want to bring up Draisaitl.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah,
Is
yeah.
anybody
Basically,
upset that it's not Leon Draisaitl? Do you think it was called that?
he's German, so I don't know if I'm actually pronouncing it correctly, but all right. What Leon Draisaitl? What is it, Andrew?
Look, hold on one second.
Someone look in the news. Maybe Draisaitl has a right to be pissy. I see this thing on Deadspin.
Yep.
Oh,
So
here we go. Let me look at this.
So, and I remember the guy's name right. So, as you mentioned, Edmonton sucks.
I think they're so-so. They have a 6-game losing streak. They're so-so. They just need to kind of put it together. But the California teams are not relenting.
When you've got Connor McJesus and Leon Draisaitl, you shouldn't be so-so.
They're the Anaheim Angels of hockey.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's a
good comparison.
And Shohei Ohtani of hockey.
Yeah,
and they're meh. So a reporter named Jim Matheson in a press conference yesterday or whatever, and he's a Hockey Hall of Fame. He's in the Hockey Hall of Fame for his reporting career. Tries to bait Draisaitl by throwing his teammates or whatever under the bus for their recent woes. He didn't take the bait, and it was just I mean, admittedly, it was not a great answer. It was just your typical athlete BS, but it is what it is, and that's really the best answer you can come up with on the spot. So the reporter Matheson asked him, "Do you want to give a better statement?" He said no. Oh, here we go. So here's the so I'm reading it off of a website because they have the transcript. So the journalist who has covered the Oilers for about 40 years asked Draisaitl if amid the team's second 6-game losing streak, he had thought the team was past getting into such slumps after the Oilers' last 2 regular seasons were quite successful. Sure, yeah, said Draisaitl. Matheson then asked for his thoughts on what was the biggest reason for the team's recent losses and what was one thing he thinks is most important for the team to improve on. Yeah, we have to get better at everything. He responded.
Let me. I want to play it. So let me play it on our show so we can hear it. So let me actually see if I can actually play it on here. And
what do you think's the number one reason for
Twitter
the losses now? Is there one thing that you, in your own mind, you're saying we got to get better at that?
Yeah, we have to get better at everything.
Would you like to expand on that?
No. You can do that. You know everything.
Why are you so pissy, Leon? Why are you so pissy?
I'm not. I'm just answering your
question. Yeah, you are. Whenever I ask you a question.
I gave you an answer.
Not a very good one.
Okay.
I have one more for you. Leon, you show your frustration on the ice last game against Ottawa.
Oh, my.
Is that a good thing when you show it so the other team knows you're frustrated?
Yeah, it's a great thing, for sure.
Good.
Yeah. All right, so the clip just played. I mean, look, and Andrew, you've been. I mean, we both covered, games. I've covered NHL too, the media scrums and stuff like that. And usually media kind of just. I mean, down here, it's a little different down here. I don't think. I think Canadian reporters are more, I guess, harder. I guess because it's their national sport and everything like that. Especially like in Toronto, Edmonton, I would say too, especially with the history of the team. So I can see why Draisaitl, especially knowing that this guy's always there, might have been. And he's coming after a loss. You're frustrated, you're pissed off. I don't know. I'm on Draisaitl's side. I've always been kind of on the player side when it comes to like these.
I'm absolutely on
stuff
Draisaitl's
like
side,
that.
without a doubt.
And okay, fine, this guy's in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but as Charles, of course, has an opinion about Hall of Fames in general. Just because
Hall of Fame
in
means
it,
nothing.
Exactly. Just because he's in it doesn't mean he can't be a dick when he's asking.
I once
a guy
was
a
student
question.
of the month, guys. What does that mean as me as a human being?
Yeah. So it's I'm on Draisaitl's side here, Andrew. Mm-hmm.
So for the people who aren't listening to that audio clip, me, abridging what made Draisaitl so pissy pants?
Andrew?
Yes. So I'm just gonna say the quote here. So Matheson asked, "Would you like to expand on that?" Draisaitl said, "No, you can do that. You know everything." And then Matheson says, "Why are you being so pissy?"
Yeah, which is
He
kind of
for the Capitals. No, he plays for
the Oilers. The Oilers.
Oilers. Oh, sorry. All right, never mind. Because I saw that clip on ESPN Plus, but I didn't watch it.
Mm-hmm. So it's a dick move by a reporter. It's very unprofessional in a sense too, right?
I mean, of course he's pissed. I can't think of any athlete that loves to lose.
Who the hell says the word pissy, by the way?
I mean,
it's a very
listen.
like not well. I don't use that word often. I don't really hear it often either.
You're being very judgmental right now. Okay, I say the equivalent of pissing your Cheerios.
Okay, no, I'm saying piss. No, piss is fine. People say piss all the time, but pissy. That's the word.
You're kind of pissy. You say pissy to be like to.
I always feel like
to
when
make them
people
feel
say,
indignant.
I know,
so
but I always feel like people say pissy when they themselves are pissy. I always feel like people
I say pissy if I'm trolling you. It's like I'm saying you're being fussy right now.
Yeah. Well, a reporter trolling a player isn't really the best thing either. But then again, I don't know. Matheson probably doesn't even know what trolling is. So, yeah. Andrew, you were sorry. You're finishing a thought.
Oh no, that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. So there's some hockey drama. I guess we can go with that. So there's that. Let's see. I don't want to talk about the Lakers drama because ESPN does that all the time. You know?
Yeah, and you know, I'll comment on for 2 seconds. Aaron Rodgers saying REALX with this play-in tourney. Relax, I can't spell apparently. None of it matters. You know, they're still good enough to get like the 9-10, and then when everybody's healthy, they win out. Whether or not they make the run. What we can comment on is a certain man betrayed us, Francisco. If we're a lightly transition NBA, we were betrayed. A guy that we supported, that we loved, that we were happy that he got postseason glory because he beat the frauds of Phoenix Suns, including Robert Sarver, who, you know, well, can we just love the fact that just got swept under the rug, by the way, and his whole policies and what he was doing there in Phoenix. But anyway, Giannis saying that the Heat were the perfect bubble team.
I mean,
how dare you, sir, when we align for the greater good against you?
Yeah,
you tell us just the perfect, because in theory the perfect bubble team was the LA Lakers, the one who won in the bubble. So I really don't understand what your logic is.
I feel like he's earned the right to say it because they beat us last season in the playoffs.
No, but you don't get to say it because everybody is going to beat everybody at some point in the juncture. What you could say is, oh, you know, they talked a lot of trash and we got them. You can't call us the perfect bubble team because are you saying that you were not the perfect bubble team? It's kind of like, you know, when someone tries to attempt to do a backhanded compliment and really they just miss the compliment part and they just end up backhanding themselves.
Honestly, going by that, his statement is wrong because the Lakers won that championship, so they were the perfect bubble team.
That's the point. That's the point. It's the same thing. Rodgers, you know, winning anything that was won in COVID season is the perfect bubble team. Not the team who came in second, not the team who came in last. You know, if anything, the worst bubble team is the team who lost it. So technically, I think, would be the worst bubble team. Give it or not. You could say, hey, it's a different team that we have now because I was injured and Bam Adebayo.
I'll tell you this about the Heat right now with Jimmy and Bam being out, you know, intermittently between each other. You know,
Eric Spoelstra's daddy.
Yeah, well, this love fest between the Jimmy and the rest of his teammates that they're calling up and, you know, replacing him and all that stuff, and he basically saying that, you know, fuck them and all that stuff, you know, sending them texts and stuff like that, saying how much they suck. Oh my God. I love him even more now.
You know, Jimmy Butler is representing what I represent when I bother my paralegal, and I'm just trying to get into it, which is EOE. You know what EOE we do in our office? We call it excellence over everything. That's what Jimmy's doing. You know, I love that leadership. That's my trademark that, by the way. Copyright it. Make sure that no one steals it from us.
Put on a shirt.
That's yeah, I don't know. That's actually too good for a shirt that's me put to Andrew. You know what? That's what you can put for you guys, or as a trio, EOE. But Giannis, bruh, is that going to be your excuse? Everybody who wins, they were just the perfect team. You know, Phoenix Suns should just use that, you know. Lakers should use, everybody should use it. We were the perfect thing. Sure. What a dumb statement. He betrayed us. And you know what? Screw your team. Fraud.
Yeah, let's go down the NBA because I haven't really...
You didn't have a tough opponent.
NBA.
There, I'm going to make my immature report. You played the Phoenix Suns, who I was like, they're fake. And I was proven right.
All right, so NBA standings as of right now. So the Chicago Bulls are in first place in the East, but they've lost 4 games in a row. But they're technically tied with the Heat, winning percentage-wise, you know, whatever. You know, so we're there. We're 7-3 in the last few games. The Brooklyn Nets behind by half a game, working with their thing. Kevin Durant's out, right? So
yeah, he's out for 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, so that'll affect them in some way, especially with Kyrie not playing every single game.
So that means you're going to put it all on James Harden's shoulders.
Yeah. So
my God.
Which, I mean, he kind of did in Houston for a bit, and of course he's in the East, so it kind of helps with, you know, trying to round out that 6th spot right there. Anyways, Cleveland. Yeah, the Cavs. They're back?
No, there's no Ricky Rubio.
Yeah, well, they're 27-18. They're in 4th place. The Milwaukee Bucks, the 5th place right now. I don't know if they feel like they're a team that can just turn it on. Well, of course, all these teams all have like 27 and 28 wins right now, so it's not that big of a difference between each one of them. Philadelphia, of course, they're frauds. They're 25 and 18 right now, 8 and 2 in their last 10.
But respect Joel Embiid for leading. That's the thing. You can hate a team, but we can respect a guy. To do this when a punk ass, and we're just going to punk ass, we're going to go a little PG-13 today, Ben Simmons, trying to use mental health as an excuse of why he can't play. Because that's, for Andrew's sake, that's like the cop-out excuse that he says. And they don't go into details, obviously, and stuff like that. Really, it's just whole, like, y'all don't want to trade me, so I'm looking for a justifiable way to not get docked my pay anymore. Yes, I'm speculating. Yes, I'm a jerk. Get used to it. But the fact that Joel Embiid's able to kind of bring this team to come back, they're like ripping and roaring. And it's him.
They're 9-9 at home, which is they're only 9-9 at home. They're 16-9 on the road. Interesting.
But remember, they also went without a little bit of some players. But I respect Joel Embiid. I don't respect Doc Rivers. You know why? But good for them.
Yep.
Good for them to be like, Ben Simmons, if we don't need you to win. Joel Embiid's gone. It's Ben Simmons leading that team. They're not a 6 seed. They're maybe the outside looking in.
And then the bottom 4 teams after that, they're basically fighting for the 7-8 spot. Charlotte, 24 and 20. Washington, they started off well this season, but then fell back down to 23 and 21. Toronto, 21 and 20, and Boston at 23 and 22. When is that? When are they going to break that up? Because they have to at this point, right?
You're not breaking up because you put Brad Stevens in power.
I mean,
he really is just trying to reconstruct the team from 2017, 2018. Isaiah Thomas is going to come back. I can't foresee them breaking up because here's the thing. You still need a fan base, and Jaylen Brown is a likable player. And whatever weaknesses you want to say that is there on him, is this really what you want to break up with when you can just try to stick out with the remainder of Al Horford's egregious contract? I know his stats are average, but he's still getting on the back end of like, what, $100 million from a 4-year deal. So this is the third. It should be going to a third year. So that's concerning. And then you really have no other money spent elsewhere. Oh, wait, you spent too much on Marcus Smart. I like Marcus Smart as a player. I don't know if he doesn't fit what you really should have shipped that team to be. And there's no shooters, but you can't break it up because it's like, what do you have? Remember the Celtics about 7 years ago when they didn't have Tatum and Brown? Mm-hmm. It was terrible. It was barely watchable,
but
basketball.
It was for them. They had to make the transition. That was the thing. That was just what they had to do. It just feels like whatever they have right now is not going to cut it. I mean, and look, what's more, all these East teams are kind of all right next to each other. They're basically going down the line with regards to the amount of wins that they have. So it's not like a team can't turn it around. Hey, Boston 7-3. Yeah, they're 7-3 in their last 10. So it's not like they can't turn it around and nab one of those spots. They just have to get hot. But
remember, rookie coach. So it's vastly different. This was still a Brad Stevens team. I could see a turnaround. You can see it. This is the guy whose name I can't pronounce because I can barely say my own last name in court. I'm not being offensive. I just don't know. I looked at it once. I'm like, that's going to be hard for me to pronounce. I had a hard time saying Scott Skiles for a long time because I used to say Scott Skiles because for some reason, the spelling accent wants to come in out of nowhere. But yeah, Boston, and I'm not poo-pooing it. A lot of my friends are. I've been to Boston games when I went to TD. A lot of my friends are Boston Celtics fans. I don't have that kind of hatred the way that some Miami Heat fans do. You gave us Ray Allen. Thank you, Boston.
Yeah, but that was a momentary rivalry more than anything else. It's not like
it was a big three versus a big three.
Exactly. Really. Yeah. All right, New York Knicks. 22 and 23, 489.
Tom's getting fired next year, right? Or this year? Has to be.
I mean, unless the Knicks are trying to be less,
I don't think he can sell Dolan on not firing him. Yeah. Remember, they phased out Mark Fisdale. That's all you need to know of how they treat people if they're not getting the expectations. And
yeah, I get that. But it feels like this has been the best coach that they've had in a while. And I don't know if if they're ready to make them, scare them away. And I don't know. We'll see. They're 5-5 the last 10. Atlanta, and then it's a huge drop off after that. Atlanta 18-25. I guess it was kind of a fluke season that they had last year. So
did they have injuries in the Rona?
Yeah,
that's the hard part with predicting anything these days.
That's true as well. Indiana at 15-29. I have no idea what's going on with that team. I think they're trying to. Well, there was a rumor about trading
Miles Turner.
No. Was it Sabonis?
You can't trade some. I mean,
for De'Aaron Fox out in Sacramento.
Why? Don't you have Michael Broden? Is that what you paid?
I don't know. There's some rumors there. There's some rumors out there for that.
Our good friend Brandon Rourke, I follow his Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, FJOJR, Charles the True, Dan Frijoles, Sports Goofs. Brandon Rourke, we'll give him a shout out. I think they were saying that Miles Turner was on the trade block as a chip as well.
Yeah,
but
I could see that.
Isn't it terrible that this is what happens to every who's their coach now? Oh, it's Rick Carlisle. So he comes
back?
in with this presumption.
I didn't realize he was back.
Yeah, he's the coach for the Pacers.
He's
man.
back again. Oh, I didn't know he was back. Okay, I mean,
so he even had the Rona, and that's why he was out for a bit.
Yeah, I think it's basically like a wash year for Indiana. They're just like, okay, let's just trade what we can, whatever we got. We got Rick Carlisle, who's been there before as their head coach, and
but everybody's so young, so it's like teams just get rid of everybody.
I know, but he's found ways with teams like this, and he's been able to stick around a long time with a bunch of teams, with Indiana, with Dallas, obviously. So I think Indiana's just basically going to let him stay, let them ride out a rebuild or whatever they want to do right here. So Detroit's bad. 10-33.
Very bad. But bad by design.
Yeah, bad by design, hoping to, rebuild and then pull off what the Red Wings are doing out in Detroit right now, trying to get back to relevancy in some sort of way. And the Magic are awful. Andrew's beloved Orlando Magic.
We're sorry. They're so bad that he doesn't even want to get invested into watching.
Yeah. That's really bad when a team that has Orlando in its name just scares away Andrew.
And he listen, this man, if you just he will go support an Orlando Little League team if he has to. That's his love for that very, very muddled hell
Arena
of
Football League. Whatever you want to put out there. Whatever. Okay, so that's the East. West. Phoenix is in first place, but Charles doesn't believe in them, of course. Golden State. They've lost a few games. Can you believe it? They're in second place, 32-12. Memphis, 31-15. That's a team I want to see do some things. That's a team. John Morant. They're 9-1 in the last 10.
And that's when they blew up because remember they let Valanciunas go and they traded for Steven Adams and we're like, what? Like I always liked Valanciunas, but they have a plan.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing. It's terrifying.
Well, I mean, they've done this before, where it's basically like, okay. Well, no, before it was, they had the grit and grind stuff, and it was basically a team that had good chemistry with each other, and we're doing that. But here they actually have a star. They have an actual star.
A good second man with Deion Brooks.
Exactly, and chemistry that's working out for them. So I like what they're doing out in Memphis. They're kind of like my West team right now. That I'm feeling it. I hope they actually do something this year. Utah, 29-15, but they're a regular season team, so I don't care, really.
Well, the idea is that let them get to like a 4th seed, and then that's when they'll show up because they were cursed the last 2 years.
That's true. They've had expectations. If they have less expectations, they might be able to do something. And at the 4 or 5 seed, they could actually win a round, move on to the next. Yeah, so Dallas at 25-19. They've been hot as of late, 9-1, last 10. Denver, but of course that's where the Parasaurolophus is as well.
Listen, we were my hate boner for the NFL season was the Seahawks. Where I'm directing that energy to, kids, for the NBA.
Well, right now, the Grizz would if the playoffs started, the Grizz would match up against Denver, and it'd be nice to see Ja making the Parasaurolophus extinct. That'd be great.
That young man's gonna beat that ass for us.
Minnesota at 7, 500.
Feels wrong. Feels wrong.
Yeah,
because I think we made the joke of we like consistency, and it's always like Minnesota's trash.
Yeah,
and now it's like they're not trash.
Well,
and
they're
I like
500. It's not like they're not like they're world beaters.
But they haven't been 500 in so long. That's the thing. It feels dirty.
So if they reaching 500 is like, holy crap, what are they doing out there? They're doing great. And it's
that's like if the Baltimore Orioles are going to be competent.
Yeah, of course, Jimmy. They spurned Jimmy, so of course, gotta hate on them for that a little bit. But I feel like Cat kind of deserves a little something to be happy about, given what he's gone through.
So being fucking traded away from the Minnesota Timberwolves, they just won't let him go.
Yeah, well, the Lakers, but I don't want to talk about the Lakers because enough people talk about them. The Clippers behind them, 22-23. They were at the Rams game, so.
What? I mean, look, when you lost your 1-2, might as well just phone it in.
Yeah, well, 22-23. They're kind of. 22-23, and you're, I guess, semi-phoning it in, maybe, but I don't know, probably not. Portland, they're bad. They're a bad team.
Chauncey Billups is just a terrible coach.
What a great hire, right? What a great hire, Portland. And people were warning them about this, so I don't know, man. I don't understand why he was the one that they felt like, this will be great. Dame will love him. Okay.
Because it seems like that's the progression. Oh, you're a former player on a great Pistons team. Okay, you're also
seems like the
analyst.
Because that was happening out in Major League Baseball. Of course, Aaron Boone is one of those guys where it's just like, yeah, you have no other experience doing this, but we're going to make you the coach now, or the head, or the manager, And Chauncey Billups, who I think was he working in a front office for a team before this?
No, I think he was shadowing.
He was shadowing. Okay, so he wasn't even really doing anything. He wasn't even like an assistant GM in some sort of way, right? Because other guys have been like assistant GMs and.
Well, it's not like James Jones. It was like, just go.
Well, yeah, James Jones.
That's that heat culture.
Yeah, James Jones went through the process. He was, an assistant GM, all that stuff, and then now he's doing his own thing. But yeah, all right. Sacramento is Sacramento. 18-20.
Alvin Gentry. That's the interim coach because they fired Walton for being overrated.
Mm-hmm. San Antonio. Man, they have not recovered from Kawhi leaving. They really were planning that like the next decade out.
Yeah.
And man, that really I watched a video about this on YouTube about the fall of the Spurs and Kawhi's relationship. And yeah, sheesh, man, that was ugly. In New Orleans, I don't know what's going on with Williamson. I haven't
everything needs Ben Simmonsing it.
Yeah,
but he wants to trade out. I think that's like overplayed because what young man who's just coming to the league is going to be that arrogant to check their talents? We say check the privilege when we're arguing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like check the talents. I'm so good. I have one full season of health, but I had that one full season at Duke, so you guys are going to want to trade me. I'm like, resign. I think that's just media spin. Obviously, no one would really want if you were a parent because that was a.
Is he back in shape again? I have no idea what's going on with him.
He's been battling with a foot injury.
Yeah,
he hasn't played all the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm. But the whole thing is about his shape and stuff like that. I'm just saying, is he going to be coming?
But that's the thing. They want to call him fat. I'm like, what? He's not Eddie Curry up in here.
I don't know. I think people are trying to kind of add that narrative of him being like the Jamarcus Russell of the NBA.
This is why I hate fandom. And here's the thing. Y'all Twitter people, even though I said follow us on Twitter, y'all are fake, man. Like, if we were face to face with anybody, you ain't going to say it. And that's why I don't, engage even to go and get retorted back. But bringing it back to Zion, it has been shitting on the kid since day one. Hands down.
Yeah.
And I like Zion. I remember what he was doing at Duke. I don't know what he could be because you haven't played a whole season, 3 seasons, but you can see the potential.
And same thing happened to Embiid. Yeah.
But
Well, with Embiid, it was back-to-back MCL, ACLs. With him, I think he goes from having, I don't even remember who his rookie coach was. Then he goes to Stan Van Gundy, and the thing is, Stan's way was archaic. We love Stan Van Gundy up at this house, but it was just too archaic to go in.
Yeah.
And now, I don't even know who their coach is. You know, I just know it was an assistant from, I think it was from Dallas, but I'm not sure coming into it. So going back to rookie coaches, there's always going to be that hard development. So if he leaves, it's not going to be because of the money. It's going to be because of who's going to be the next guy developing. Because Zion's only like, what, 22? Oldest? So if he's that age, he's going to want to go to somewhere where they're going to develop him to be the best that he can be. And there's a certain place called South Florida, Miami. We'll take you. We don't know how we're going to use you, but why not? Go ahead. Come love us. When are we signing DeMarcus Cousins? I don't know. Going on. Moving on.
OKC, 1429. And Houston,
rebuild,
rounding out the bottom, rebuild as well. So that's the NBA, and that's way past our halfway point. So let's just do it, guys. A word from our non-sponsors, people, places, things, concepts, what have you, that we've been enjoying over the last week. All right, guys. Charles has been sitting on something for quite a bit. I don't know if he's ready to do it this time.
I got 3.
Oh,
I got 3.
Okay, so
one very small. One a continuation of last week, and then the big one. So I don't know if you want to take segment. I can knock it all out.
I'll roll us into this thing because it's really the only thing I've been doing lately over the last week, especially this week. I'm tired, but I got into a series of games. Crackdown. That's what I've been playing a lot lately. So the Crackdown series. That's where I'm at right now. Crackdown.
Straight callback.
Yeah, it's still going on. Oh wow, that is giving me a seizure in a way. Gosh, a seizure warning to everybody watching that. You won't see that in the audio version of it, but you know. Okay, but yeah, it's basically an open world sandbox where you are an agent for like basically a police and law enforcement organization that's got a little too powerful. Let's just say a little too powerful. I've kind of overreached a bit, and that's kind of like the storyline of the game. I've already played through the first 2 games. The first game was really fun. I like the controls of the game. It actually makes sense to me. Running around, using the right stick to move around and stuff. You can lock on, using the left trigger and shoot with the right. You can punch people. You can jump very high. There's a lot of there's these orbs that you can collect along the way in the world that make your character better with their agility and things like that. At least in the first game, and every time you beat up enemies and kill them, you get orbs that help with your and depending on how you kill them, with your grenades throwing ability, with your shooting ability, or with your fighting ability, and you can collect orbs to help with your agility, with how high you can jump and how fast you can run, and also you can drive cars and different vehicles in the game as well. That helps with, and you can collect to improve yourself there. So you start off being able to do things. It's not, and you level up pretty quickly with collecting the orbs and things like that. So and there's 3 different difficulty levels in the first game. In the second game, there's 4. I of course played it on the easiest one because I just want to have fun, and it is fun. I like hopping around and exploring. Kind of gave me a Breath of the Wild type of vibe without being Breath of the Wild, and just let me explore, kind of look in the nooks and crannies of the game. It's online multiplayer, so you can have people join in on your game and help you finish off some missions and things like that. The second game is a lot more heavy on the multiplayer. There's a lot of missions that feel a lot that definitely feel a lot easier when you play with multiple people. I was able to play online multiplayer. There's people still playing, especially Crackdown 2. There's people still playing that game on 360, but I think it's backwards compatible with like Series X and Xbox One, so that's probably why. And it's free also. The first 2 games are free. So if you have an Xbox 360 or Xbox One or Series X, they're free. You can just download them and play. So you don't have free with the DLC and everything. So you don't have to buy anything there. And then the third one, which is on Xbox One and Series X and PC. I haven't started playing that yet, but I probably will download it soon. I might actually download it tonight because I've had a good day today. So I want to reward myself in some sort of way. I had a jelly donut. That was the other thing I rewarded myself there. And yeah, this game's fun. I really, really have enjoyed it. I've kind of blasted through them. I think the first game took me I think I spent 10 hours in the first game. The second game was 5 hours, especially with the help from people online. I was able to get some super powerful people to help me with finishing off the missions faster than the average time. So I was able to get through it pretty quickly. I'm ready to move on to the third one. So I'm done. I'm done with and the Crackdown series is great. So promo code. Oh man, what's something to say in the game? I'm not even sure. Whatever. And there's a guy that kind of feeds you intel and things like that, and he's got a really fun voice. I like that guy. So I'll just put hell yeah, as Charles said. Okay. So it's fun.
Really Crackdown games. I can go next. I can knock out all three real quickly in a small time. So obviously, first and foremost, non-sponsor. My niece, just born, Scarlett. We give you love right there.
Hey.
Everybody's thinking I'm being a robot for not immediately crying children. Me, I'm like, meh. It's a baby. Pay taxes. What are you crying for, baby? I should be crying. Me. But, she's cute. I'll probably see her sometime this week. She was born Monday, so I'll give her a little shout out. That's Goofs Nest gets bigger. Don't ask me about kids. I'm going to get a vasectomy. But you know what? She's my non-sponsor for telling me to get a vasectomy if you don't like to clean up baby poo-poo and everything like that. So with love, sure. Continuation, because last week's non-sponsor was my PS5. I beat it. I have to give a shout out to it. Returnal. Loved it. I hated it. I loved it at the same time. It's basically like just, playing a video game version of me with all the issues there. Fantastic. Loved it. Easier than it should be. Absolutely loved it. Promo code for that is Don't Fear the Reaper. Anybody who's played the game will know. Just play it. You don't want to play it. Don't pay full price for it. Get it for $8 like I did, because I'm a G when it comes to that. Loved it. But let's talk to the real thing. That's just me giving a continuation for it. Fellas, I don't think you guys have ever been jealous of me, and I don't think anybody should ever be jealous of me. I don't think anybody should be jealous of anybody. I don't think anybody should be envious, things like that, because that creates destruction, path to the dark side. But I think I did an ultimate sin last week when I sent you a location of where I was at and what I was eating. So, as everybody knows, I'm willing to die for food. Not talking about willing to kill or anything like that, or willing to die willy-nilly. I have that phrase, I'm not here. I'm here for a good time, not a long time, right? To quote Drake, and everything comes into it. And that's usually my mindset when it comes to anything good, food-wise, snack-wise, everything in between. I have done the KFC Cheetos. I have done the mega stuffed Oreos, so you didn't have to do it. That's really what I should do for a podcast of my own thing. Is I ate this so you didn't have to, but I like to enjoy my food. Well, last week, I'm pretty sure I died, went to heaven, made out with Jesus, and got sent back to earth to talk to you all about what is out there. So you guys know what the American staple is. For every diner, for every place they go to, whether it's in the South, in the North, Midwest, the West Coast, it's chicken and waffles, hands down. There's a place that I frequent whenever I get the opportunity to, when I'm on my way to Fort Pierce, that said, hey, sir. I'm like, hi, how you doing? Please say thank you. Do you like chicken? I'm like, I love chicken. You love waffles? I love waffles. I don't know why we prejudice waffles over pancakes. We all should be a happy, harmonious community. You like chicken and waffles? I'm like, oh yeah, obviously I love chicken and waffles. Well, we offer chicken and waffles. Okay, you offer chicken and waffles. But hey, we offer a variety of waffles. I'm like, what kind of waffles are we talking about here? I'm like, you can make some specialty waffles. What kind of specialty waffles? And then I look at this beautiful menu. I open it up. I order this thing. And your boy got chicken tender, because the thing is, if I'm in my full dress clothes for work, I can't do wings and legs because it's gonna get saucy everywhere. If I was in a normal t-shirt, hands down, it's gonna happen. So I got the chicken tenders, but I got chicken tenders and of course in hot sauce, Andrew. I'm no schlub. I got you. But then I also got Oreo waffles.
Where was this? Where was this?
Fats Chicken, PHATZ. That's because that's what I was feeling in my soul. Fats Chicken, Fort Pierce. Boys, I sent y'all the photos. It was ungodly, and it was ungodly delicious.
what they did with the Oreos is they crushed the Oreo shell and then they had the white glazing over it, and then they had the hot sauce and they gave me a little bit of that maple syrup. I'm like, okay. Okay, I was crying and I was kind of full halfway through, but Mama did not raise. No, puck, there it is. Fats Chicken Shack, and I've had it before. It was actually going to be a non-sponsor in 2021 because I had the chicken and Fruity Pebble waffles. They have Red Velvet waffles. They have all this other stuff, and thankfully I have court next week, next Wednesday, baby.
Yummy.
You know what I'm gonna get? Get me some fats. But when I say it was simply delicious, it was so good. And I've actually got a free shirt there before because I guess I was like the first customer of the day. I was like, oh, hey, thanks. Oh, every day. But
they have a food truck.
Is just good. You know, damn, if you guys need a food truck, go get that. But the chicken is succulent. I've had also the wings before too, and they're good too. They're tasty. The sauce is very good to get them mild. They're spicy. It's kind of hot. No kidding. It can get you there. But Oreo waffles, man. And so anybody who's in my area, Treasure Coast area, Martin County, Fort Pierce, Indian River County, or if you're just coming on and gliding all over, get yourself some goodish, man. I haven't had a chicken combination like that since I had Brothers down in New Orleans at the convenience store, and I wasn't even hammered this time when I had that Fats chicken and all that fun stuff because it was just delicious. But I sent y'all the photos. It was delicious. It was so good. I want to hear what you guys have to say on that. But promo code FATS, what would I have? It's like just greatness. I'm just gonna put it as that. The Oreo waffle changed my life. It changed my life. So promo code greatness, Fats Chicken and Shack, Fort Pierce. I think they have one in Indian River as well. You get the Red Velvet waffle. That's going to be my next go-to, but I got to make sure that I have time to digest all that food. It's going to be so good. I'm so ready. I'm hungry for it now. Kissing Jesus right there.
I'm trying to find more photos of this thing because let me see if I can find it on like Yelp or something because they gotta have.
You should have just uploaded the one I sent y'all.
Yeah, Fats Chicken Shack. There we go. Fort Pierce. Here we go. That's where we're at. That's where we are at. Where are the photos? Give me those photos. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, just know I will die for the show and I will die for this food. And know that if you put something in my area, I will try it. Unless it's a Beyond KFC bucket. That's wrong.
Yeah.
But you know what's not wrong? Oreo waffles.
There's the Oreo waffle right there.
Baby.
Gigantic Belgian waffle.
Every day.
Look at that with the chicken wings on the side. On the side, by the way. Chicken wings on the side.
It's more waffle than wings. I never thought you'd get that kind of combo.
Yeah.
Because it's not even like fried chicken. I think they have a fried chicken option. I didn't see it per se, but
I mean, there's the menu.
Like I said, I try to eat
it's
clean.
on its side. Oh, look at that. Fats and they have empanadas too. Southwest egg rolls. Look at garbage fries, corn nuggets. Yeah, they got tacos too.
I mean, it's nice knowing you guys because you know I'm done. I'm gonna keep going there, and then it's finally gonna happen. I'm gonna die as I live, just clogging my arteries.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Oh, that looks so good.
Yeah, and Francisco's on a diet. Everybody who's listening.
Yeah.
And
No,
I've been
the goal is to get to the taco pass. Okay, it's like Xbox Game Pass but for tacos. You get one taco a day for free. It's a subscription service to Taco Bell. I would find that weird. I just walk in every day. It's like, all right, give me the usual.
I used to work at Vitamin Shop, and the building was 2 minutes, not even walking distance to a Taco Bell. So that's really how you're gonna make your money. And my buddy and I talked about this because this is obviously in-depth conversation I have with my other fat friends like myself, where they're just like, but you know you're always going to pay more because you can't just eat one burrito. I'm like, I understand that, but the fact is, if for people who are in that vicinity, $20 a month or whatever I'm paying, I'm going to obviously have a huge, I'm going to be fed every day if it's close to me. You know what I mean? That's the mindset. That's the logic. I would do it. I'm just saying.
So I was listening to the normal food podcast that I listen to because that's how I am, and they were talking about the Taco Pass and how it actually might be a symbol of equality for the future. And here's why: it's like you could literally like buy Like, let's say you have somebody who's down on the luck, or somebody is like, hey, it's hard for them to afford food. You could buy them a taco pass for like $10, and they know that they have at least one guaranteed meal per day. Actually, yeah, this could be Taco Bell's ultimate form of altruism that we're seeing right now. Like, it could be that.
mean, Taco Bell's ultimate form of altruism is just feeding me every day. Their cheddar chalupa, is really good.
Yeah.
Man, the grilled burrito chalupa was good too.
Yeah, so we're...
You guys know what I miss about Taco Bell?
What?
Choco tacos.
The Choco Taco?
Choco taco.
I never had it.
Choco taco?
I never had it. It was like a limited time dessert that they had, I'm assuming. Because right now they have those weird cinnamon sticks.
It wasn't limited time. It
was just there, man.
Wow. Oh, there was the Taco Bell.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Charles?
There was the Taco Bell apocalypse that happened, where they took out a lot of the things from the menu when they were trying to streamline the menu. A lot of people hated that.
This was before that.
This was about, what, circa 6 years ago? If that.
Gosh, now I got
another thing that I miss is their taco salad.
Yeah, that actually wasn't bad. Remember they tried to make the fresca or whatever, try to be fresh.
Taco Bell Choco Taco. What the?
They still sell them. They're still sold.
Eater.com has the history of the Choco Taco. Oh, that looks fantastic.
Good.
I mean, they're still sold in stores, but I don't know. There's nothing like actually having it in the Taco Bell after you've had a real taco.
Wow. So it's basically
what happens
the
is
Mexican ice cream sandwich.
Yeah. They bastardized the apple empanada too, so that's why you missed the chocolate taco. Or choco taco.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Damn. Okay. All right.
Way off track. Sorry, Andrew.
Taco Bell's availability. The Choco Taco's availability at Taco Bell eventually ended, much to the chagrin of a few hardy souls on Facebook and Twitter. But Taco Bell, let's see, the Bell, No Bell, the Choco Taco can now be found in approximately 120,000 Good Humor / Unilever convenience store freezers, as well as warehouse stores and supermarkets. So, okay. Oh, that looks beautiful. Look at it floating right there. Andrew, what's yours?
Well, I'll be honest, I haven't had a lot of time to think because my life has been studying. But when I do get free time, like I mentioned last week, I've been playing Kingdom Hearts. And I have one company to thank for the ability to continue playing Kingdom Hearts because I don't have wired controllers. I have wireless controllers, Bluetooth controllers, or whatever. And I have to thank Energizer.
Here we go.
Because I bought a charging port from them. Stick it in, stick the charger in for about a couple of hours, and bam, there you go, freshly charged controller. Especially useful for me because one of my controllers is broken, and it makes games practically unplayable. So I just pop this thing in overnight, and bam, it's ready to go the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all I got for you guys.
Hey, man.
Promo code Bunny because of the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah. Hey, man, we've
That
all been
cute
there.
That cute little motherfucker.
We all been there. Like I have my 360 controller right now. Oh, I bought an Xbox Elite controller, for cheap on Goodwill. So that one's gonna come in at some point. And it's been just using these batteries. Of course, having the Wii and having replaced batteries, I have the rechargeable battery packs and things like that. It's always nice to have those to go along with, and get them from like an actual company like Energizer instead of a weird third party or something like that, like Nyko. So, yeah. All right. Okay, guys, that's it for the non-sponsors. we're at the 1 hour and 30-minute mark. What else do you guys want to talk about? Because I've got nothing. We didn't talk about the NFL, right? No, we did not.
Yeah, we did not.
Yeah.
So I guess we are.
Yeah, so let's go. Let's do it. NFL Wildcard Weekend, because I actually named this episode Wildcard Weekend, and we have to talk about it. So we're going to go game by game. I'm pulling up the NFL app on my phone, because some things happen. Of course, convictions were justified for Charles. So let's start it off with the Los Angeles Rams. The last game that was just played, Los Angeles Rams versus the Arizona Cardinals. All right. And yeah, very easy victory for LA. All right, Charles, go ahead. Go start the gloating.
You know what the problem is? I have a degree in political science. That's how I'm going to start this. I'm a lawyer. What that led to in both my careers is to be able to analyze statistics and also look at the C&I test. And part of it revolves practicality, because you can have all the degrees, you can write all the little articles, you could do everything that you want, but when you fall in love with statistics, you don't know ish. And I learned that in a very, very young age. You know who did not learn that? Everybody who just suckled the teat of Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, because they looked at fantasy football instead of seeing eye test. Put me as a scout. Don't bring me your analytics. Y'all were loving on Kyler Murray, Mr. Keebler Elf, Part 2, Russell Wilson, saying he was going to be this, the Cardinals are going to be good. They started out strong, 7-1. And you analytics like, oh, they went 7-1. And I had been on this show, and I gave you hardline statistics. I said, who did they play? They beat us. Sure, they beat us week 1. But who did they beat? Who have they beaten? They haven't beat much. They won games without Colt McCoy. Fantastic. That is C&I test, because Colt McCoy, he's a not standout quarterback, but he's a quarterback. He understands the concept. He understands plays. He doesn't play backyard football. You know, come into certain things, into it, and then they limp. They limp like me, finishing my Fats chicken and waffles meal as I limped to the bathroom. They limped to the playoffs. They didn't even win the regular game season when they actually could have won the division on the line. They lost to Seattle, whereas the Rams took it in. Remember, Rams embarrassed them already one time, but everybody's like, we love the favorites because we look at Kyler Murray's 24-10 stats. He's a runner. He passed off on playing for the Oakland Athletics to be in the NFL. Cliff Kingsbury is doing wonders. Guys, Cliff Kingsbury is an incremental rise to success. It's like 2 games, 1 per season. Went 6 and something. Went 8-8 last year. This time you went like 10-7 or 11-7. I don't know how to do math, guys. 11-6.
Yeah, 11-7. Yeah.
And when they showed up, you still got to play the game. To quote Delanie Walker, we love you, Delanie, because of the playoffs. But we love Delaney. We love Delaney Walker, who was a tight end. When Cleveland was being crowned, it's like, you want to crown them. You still got to play the game. They didn't play the game. Yeah, I looked at the little games that they did beat, looked at some statistics. Like, Kyler Murray, he's got 24 touchdowns. He's going to do all these things. And then if you watched him play, and I only watched 2 full postseason games this weekend. I watched the Raiders game, and I watched this game. Because, Monday Night Raw had to take a back seat to Monday Night Right. And it felt so good. Where the O-line kept collapsing. Where no one was really open. Poor A.J. Green got murdered on the field, causing a fumble. Kyler pulled a Carson Wentz. Even when Booger McFarland, who is a pretty much like straight man of comedy humor, says, what in the Carson Wentz are you doing? Where he just tossed that up when he's about to you take the safety. You don't take the touchdown. And it was just pure decimation. No one did anything right. And it goes to what I also said. Do we like Kyler Murray, or was Kyler Murray really benefiting from standout wide receivers? His first season, who was a standout wide receiver? Larry Fitzgerald. I know Larry just formally retired. I don't know why you're pulling this whole song and dance. It's annoying now.
Old Larry, but whatever. Still
but
Larry,
it was still
Hall
good.
Of Famer,
And then who was he benefiting off last year and this year? DeAndre Hopkins. But our boy DeAndre, and we love D-Hop. D-Hop got Bessels a lot last year as he led me to the finals. What happened to DeAndre, though? Tore his MCL. He wasn't showing up.
and it showed. The O-line was also very bad too, so I'm not going to put everything Kyler, but it felt right because people are like, oh, the Rams are just, flashing show. I'm like, yes, they are, but they're not as fraudulent. Their Rams would be maybe what we say fraudulent. You got the full complete word. The Cardinals were straight up frauds, and I called that in the beginning. Fraudulent is a criminal act. You did something of notoriety. Frauds is a jep. It's a jape. It's a jest. And I feel so good saying it. I was like, I didn't watch it start to finish, but I watched the majority of it. And then I played Sackboy because my soul, had to deal with what happened.
The palate cleanser.
The palate cleanser. But I went back and I beat that damn game because listen, let me tell you something about me, boys. I rise up when the stress is on. Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. It was just bad play calls, but it was just no bueno. And I don't know if that Rams team is good to contend fully.
The Cardinals
playing Tampa.
The Cardinals. They just the first half of the season was the first half, but that second half was just.
And going back to Mr. Analytics, Mr. Fantasy Football people, and Mrs. All Things Equal, is that when you start the playoffs, the record is 0-0. It is not 11-6. It is not, unfortunately, 12-5 like my Tennessee Titans. It is 0-0 because it's a whole new ball game, a whole new world. Don't you dare close your eyes, Princess Jasmine. And they weren't ready. And here's the thing: how much longer do you go with this? Because Kingsbury has a tendency of everything kind of falling down on him, but there was nothing he kind of did adjustment-wise to make Kyler look better in the second half, or even after. You should really be like, hey, pick six, what's going on? Because here's the big problem. Here's the damnation of Kyler Murray's football career in his very early year. And I'm not necessarily Kyler. I don't hate anybody. I'm reasonable, but I'll talk trash. Me. Because I want to garage. I love trash. But here's the question you have to ask yourself: could you have won that game if Colt McCoy was starting? And if that's the question to be raised and asked, y'all got some problems.
Damn.
Could Colt have not scrambled? Would Colt have? And like I said, when the O-line was bad, it was fractured. But would Colt McCoy have thrown the interception? Would Colt McCoy have been more accurate? You already won a couple games without him. I understand, hey, he's a backup for a backup game, but one game is what you need coming into it. And I know we can say, well, if he had Hopkins, but even if he had Hopkins, it's not like the guy's 100% always open. So don't be silly and bring that to me. But I want you, and no one, as I've heard, said it, because, of course, I feel like the Cardinals, because whom they have as their starting quarterback and other players, a lot of teams, depending if they have this special breed of players in there, always get the pass asked if they were really the reason why they cost their team the loss. And no one's ever the full reason why you lose in a game. Individually, it's a collective effort, sure. But it's fair to say, had we not had Kyler in place, had we sat him, had we done certain things, would we have won that game? And that's what I raised to you, good sirs. I don't know where the Rams take us, but, if Sony Michel and Cam Akers, your boy, is fully there, that could be a scary team too. If they get their – it's really because Aaron Donald's scary and Jalen Ramsey's scary. But Aaron Donald's just funny. And we love Aaron Donald. He feasted on Rodney Hudson.
Yeah, he did.
But it felt good to be right, which all means is don't rely on statistics. Stop relying on those NFL predictions. We love them because we love things as human beings. We love two things. We love predictions, and I don't know about you guys. I love lists. Top 10s.
Everybody loves lists.
Best, top 10 worst. We love them. And that's who we are.
On YouTube.
Yep, that Gamer Ranks. That's who we are as people at the end of the day. But damn, it feels good to be right. Charles from Damas, buy our shirts on the show, please.
Yeah. All right, so that's the Cardinals and Rams. So that was that game, and the Rams did all right. They did all right. All right.
They're doing the God's work here.
The Buccaneers and the Eagles. Okay, it was expected.
Do you get a new quarterback
for the Eagles?
Yeah. Do you have?
No, the GM basically said Jalen Hurts is QB1 starting next season. They're gonna ride it.
I've heard.
They're gonna ride this.
I've heard a lot of things.
They're gonna ride this. They're gonna ride it right now. So yeah, he's gonna be there. So it's Hurts all the way. All right.
Okay.
So
Hurts so good, right?
Yeah. So Bucks and Eagles. That's what went down. So it's all right. But hey, he threw 244 passing yards. So all right. Okay. Next. Raiders and Bengals.
Good ass game.
Yeah, that was a good game. I'm happy for Cincinnati actually winning, too. It means that something's happening. Joe Burrow is doing some good things out in Cincinnati.
I mean, Zach Taylor gets to keep his job.
Someone made a lot of people actually made an interesting point that text messages were not invented until 1992. So someone who texted the Bengals have won a playoff game, it would literally be the first time in history
That's funny.
that it's ever been texted.
That it's ever been possible to text it. Wow. Yeah, Cincinnati finally wins a playoff game. And the Raiders surprisingly turned around their season after all the crap that they went through. So it's at least semi-encouraging for them, right? Going into next season.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rick Bisaccia, one day I'll get everybody's names right because I will learn phonetics and how to use my lips properly. I think he's earned his right to stay at that job, but we can't trust whatever the hell Mark Davis is trying to do, right?
Yep, and it's the Raiders. Something always happens with that team. Next, the Patriots and the Bills.
Sure.
Damn.
Sure. They did me a solid.
That was the little brother finally beating up Big Brother a little bit, or the kid getting bullied and finally taking him out back and beating the crap out of him. Yeah, Tom Brady's not there and everything, but still the Bills finally were able to beat the Patriots outright this time. So it's basically a legitimate division title that they fought for. So the Bills 47-17 beatdown. A lot of Buffalo fans were truly stroking it or moving it. I don't know. They were doing things to themselves on that day on a table that they jumped into. So yeah. And Allen, first quarterback in Buffalo history with 5 passing touchdowns and no interceptions in a playoff game. Just absolutely beat down. And the last game. Oh, no. The Steelers. Yeah, the Steelers lost. So Chiefs are won. So.
Man, that was terrible. I've seen Old Yeller, and it just seems so appropriate that their colors are black and yellow.
Oh, no.
But man, that's what it felt like.
Yeah, it's the end of an era. So a true end of an era, not the Disney thing that they did on that other game. So this was the true ending. And finally, the Niners and the Cowboys. I actually saw the end of this game.
I love being right.
Oh boy! And I looked back. I heard back on the on our last episode last week about what we were saying about this game, and even my little thing my little splurt there that I said about, hey man, the Niners kind of have a little momentum going. They could make some noise against the Cowboys, rivalry game, all this stuff. And look what happened. Look what happened, Charles. And that end of that game. Oh my goodness. Oh. All right, let's talk
about that game. Is the fact that everybody's focusing so much on that last play that they forget that the Cowboys are playing ass the entire game.
I mean, there was
the pick.
That picture of that woman that was crying 4 minutes before the game was even ending. Like, she just knew. She knew it was over. Like, it's it. That was it.
I don't think people realize how ridiculously hard it is to try to get 40 yards with like 5 seconds left. So no matter what the play call would be, is that it was it's accepting fate. It's not like the Miami Miracle guys.
No, and yeah, especially when you have no momentum whatsoever. And
they had none.
Yeah. So yeah, the Niners just jumping out to a big lead to start the game, and it's just punching the Cowboys in the face, just outright, right in the mouth, to start the game, and it was their game to control from there on in. After that, they just had to sit on the lead. And that was it. And yeah, the Cowboys tried to make something out of it at the end of the game, but it was too little, too late by that point. And then you had the final play of the game. Everybody questioning the play call. Everybody questioning the thing with the referees. Of course, the sound from the broadcast of the game with Tony Romo going, "Oh my goodness." That was great. That was
We love
funny.
Tony Romo. He's a national
Of
treasure for
course.
announcing.
Yeah, of course. But he's like, oh my goodness, I don't think they're gonna get it off. Like, of course, Tony Romo, he should get a Charles Adamas shirt for himself, because he's often very right about things that he sees that before they even happen, and things were going really badly. And then, of course, he was explaining the rule. As Cowboys fans were throwing garbage at the referees as they were leaving the stadium. Of course, they knew how to run out, but Romo knew what was supposed to be done, what was going down, but apparently Dak didn't know while he was trying to scramble there when they ran the ball to try and get the play going and try and spike the ball, but was for naught. Charles was for naught, and of course the memes came in. And Stephen A. on ESPN laughing at Michael Irving and all the Cowboys fans. We all were. It was pretty fun. Man, the Niners have a ton of fans that travel well, for sure. Or
That's
just
loyalty.
Yeah, or have been loyal since the 90s/80s, because they've got a fan base because of that legacy. And this was a legacy rivalry series that was going down. And the Niners won. And I'm happy because I can kind of sort of claim the Niners as my team because my name's there. So, yay. Go San Francisco. All right.
Yay!
All right. And Cowboys fans, of course. Yeah. All right. So I think combined with the start of the show where things kind of crapped out, I think we're at the 2-hour mark in a sense. So, Charles, are you ready? Are we ready?
Well, we forgot one important thing if we're talking about the NFL.
Oh, the upcoming week?
Is Derrick Henry coming back?
The
Is he gonna get a
upcoming
handy?
week. Yes, Charles.
And my prediction.
So next week we have, let's get the games that you don't really care about, or kind of semi care about. Let's go. NFC, San Francisco versus Green Bay.
Care about that big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Charles's next conviction needs to be justified. Okay. So that's happening, and then what was the other ones? Come on, guys.
Well, remember, I also said San Fran was my NFC representative for the season, so we really need this to be right.
Yeah,
my AFC was Baltimore, and that went to like hogwash because of everything. So whatever, it's gonna be the Chiefs, but still.
Yeah. So San Francisco versus Green Bay. I'm hoping that we get a victory there as well. That'll be fun. And then we have the LA Rams versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That should be a good game. That should be.
That's
pretty
actually
fun.
harder than you think. I feel because of all the injuries that Tampa has.
Yeah.
And because the Rams, I think if they actually play how they're supposed to play, as opposed to just trying to be Madden stats and fantasy football purists, just run the ball, and then throw it to OBJ and then Cup. Like, it can't be more simple than that. So why are we making it difficult?
The Buffalo versus Kansas City. So here we go.
Good.
Rematch. Let's do it. For I think was it the AFC Championship a couple years ago?
And mind you, Charles did say that the Bills were frauds. So I need to be right about this. All the things I talked smacked about are once again up to fruition. I can't deal with that anxiety, boys.
Yeah. So then we have the final one. Cincinnati versus Tennessee. All right, Charles, you got a team that historically does horrible in the playoffs, facing off against Tennessee, who hasn't been this successful in a long time. Last season they had their first run back to the conference championship game, and they had now the number one seed with all the pressures that come with it. And can we finally get a playoff Henry handjob? Henry Handy.
So here's the concerns. I'm not going to do predictions with the other ones. This is where we're at. I am not scared of the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not scared of Joe Burrow. I'm scared of Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. 3 men who basically were, 2 of them led to 1,000 yards passing, and then Tyler Boyd came with 800 yards this season. I researched this ish. That's how dead serious. I'm a professional, too, boys. I'm a professional here. Terrifying because, and then the whole thing is that this leads Joe Mixon, who I talked so much trash about
in the coming season to be kind of like the other concern. The defense, they weren't that great. Remember, they let up 30-something points in Kansas City. They had teams that they would beat up. Their schedule's like in between where some of them are just whatever kind of enemies or opponents, and then everything else is in between. But I'm like, because if we have Henry back, he's not going to play.
It's going to be very limited. Right.
Yeah, 10 12 carries. Yeah, 10, 12 carries I think is going to be the feel-out process.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go from there. I think he'll still help, though, because they do not have a good run defense. They've suffered from injuries and COVID. This is the Julio Jones, we need you more than you think you know game. This is exactly what, in the beginning of the season, when I was sending y'all the Ron Burgundy
this
give
is
erection
what you
picks,
traded him for, I guess.
This is what it's about, because you take away A.J. Brown, it's on Racey McMath, it's on Des Fitzpatrick if he's healthy, it's on Chester Rogers, I think that's his name, not Charles Rogers, but Chester Rogers. It's on, I can't say, Inkind Westbrook. I'm sorry, I love you. My apologies. I'm just an idiot. My last name is Trujillo. I can't say it right. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's on that. It's on Deontay Foreman. I think if we're going to be in a shootout, it's concerning, not because we can't win in a shootout per se. It's just how much of a shootout. Because if we're behind like 10, I got concerns. Mike Vrabel is a very well-disciplined coach, but this is the number one seed that is not respected. Everybody respects the Packers. No one respects us. And sure, even though we've beaten all these teams in the playoffs. In the playoffs now, we've beaten the Bills. We have beaten the Chiefs. We've beaten San Francisco. We've beaten the Rams. The only one that we lost to were the Cardinals and the Steelers. And the Steelers was a fluke. And I think the problem is we shouldn't be coming in with the idea of respect. We want to be recognized that we're actually good and competitive. But no one's telling us we're the best team. Y'all want to say it's Buffalo. And I think Buffalo has severe deficiencies. And y'all want to say it's Kansas City, despite the fact that they got walloped by the Bengals. And you're not going to give Vrabel Coach of the Year because all you people who do this are too cowardly to do it, because it just makes, you're going to hide behind the, oh, they're the one seed anyway, so it's going to be good. I'm like, no, you're going to give it I say Sirianni, but you're going to give it to Belichick and all that. I have my concerns. I'm expecting to lose just because I think it's just going to be too quick. Whoever gets that first homer. But here's where we could win. Jeffrey Simmons is a beast. Harold Landry is a beast. Bud Dupree is a beast. Everybody's healthy. It's going to come down to them corners, unfortunately. But if we get that front thing, Joe Burrow, if he gets hit, you can't make those free throws. And here's the thing, too. Our defenders, our cornerbacks, are not the Oakland Raiders or the Las Vegas Raiders. We are not going to make those mistakes the same way that they did to just let Jamar Chase do what he wants. He still might do what he wants, but it's not going to be the way it was, where you had corners who were confused. We have disciplined guys, and we have Kevin Byard leading the safety for us to kind of make sure those secondary big plays don't happen. We have smart teams. We have smart players. We have a smart coaching staff. I still think we lose because, I rather just say we're going to lose and then say we're going to win and then eat the humble pie. Where's loyalty for a team? This is as loyal as it gets for anybody. We're just like, we've done it with the Heat. We've done it with other stuff. It's called being afraid because it's real, recognizing real. Could we win? Sure. It's possible. We've been in almost all the playoff teams that are here. Do I want to take Buffalo again? I'd rather take Kansas City again. That's the funny part. If you're going to get me to the AFC Championship game, because of all the trash talk, I talk about Buffalo because they're too out to handle. But I'm just putting my disgruntledness out now. I'm sad. I'm scared. I think we're going to lose, but we're probably going to win. That's the ultimate vote of confidence, boys.
All right. Okay. I'm going to give you a bit of a little break here, Charles. Just a tiny bit while you psych yourself up for the cage. Score updates. You got the score crawl on the bottom. Arizona Coyotes kind of was very down on the team earlier in this show, but they're beating up the Devils 4-1 right now. So there you go. Rangers and Leafs are at 3-3 at the end of 2, hoping the Rangers can win that so the Leafs can lose and the Panthers can better help themselves in the standings. And then Colorado and Anaheim face off against each other later on in Disneyland. Then we got NBA, Cleveland and Chicago. Chicago's up 58-49 right now in the third between those two teams. At halftime, Milwaukee's beating up on the Grizz. We're all hyping up the Grizz, and look at that. It's 61-47 right now at halftime. Dallas losing to Toronto 39-35. And then we have the Thunder and the Spurs. I can't see the score on the score crawl. And Sixers are beating up on the Magic. The Magic keep losing. And the game's pretty much over. 101 left in the fourth. 123-105. Washington losing to Brooklyn. 111-105 right now. Minnesota losing to Atlanta 93-85. Charlotte. That's a weird way of saying that. Charlotte.
Wow. How do you say my name? Charles?
Charlotte. Against, I think they were facing Boston. I don't know. The scorecard kind of went past me. And our beloved Miami Heat are facing off against Portland. So, again, trying to stick it to Chauncey today. Charlotte's up 75-64. The Heat, 72-73 right now. Leading the Blazers. That's it. Go to our merch store. Buy our t-shirts. Buy a Charles Stradamus shirt or a Henry Handy shirt. There's a bunch of stuff there. All right. You ready, Charles?
Buy our Fire Thigh shirt. That's still probably my favorite shirt with Andrew.
That's true.
We need a new Andrew shirt.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we do need a new Andrew shirt. I'll figure one out. All right, let's do it.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Your weekly Truplex The Cage with Charles. Full disclosure, wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It's a stage fight. It's a song and dance. It's poetry, emotion. It's a soap opera. It's men and women trying to beat the holy hell of each other, their legacies, chase championships, become immortal, fight for my love, annoy me when they have to annoy me. It's about characters, creations, and Vincent Kennedy McMahon pissing me off and the whole wrestling Twitterverse until the end of the day. Even though you hear me say, hey, Twitter people, y'all fake, y'all phony, you ain't the kind of people I want to be around. If there's anything that's a uniting force, it's Vince McMahon and the stupid ish that man does. AEW will get there. Impact will get there. They will all get there at some point. Everybody gets a chance at the wrestling universe's hatred. Let's go. Let's do this. What do I even recall? So much has happened and none has happened at all. Where we're building up to is that we're doing this on Wednesday. So I can give you guys some Tuesday results. Interesting, right? Right now what we got going on is AEW Dynamite. Jon Moxley made his return. He was in rehab. Fighting his alcoholism, coming back in, gonna punch it in the mouth and make it bleed a little bit. Now he's back into it. Let's try to go with the little ones going on. Impact Wrestling. Last time I gave them the big ups because they were really just kind of putting eyes on them by doing work with everybody. They got Mickie James going to the Royal Rumble. They have the Ring crew going in there. You had Deonna Purrazzo versus Roxy for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. Deonna Purrazzo won, so Roxy is no longer Ring of Honor Women's Champion, which means she's probably getting signed by WWE. That's my guess, because why would they drop promotions to go from there? I feel like there's more from Impact that should go from, but I didn't really research it that much. I'm going more off a gut instinct and feel for why am I fighting this woman right now? I'm playing Bayonetta in the background. That's the question of my life. Why am I fighting this woman, right? Impact getting good. Are they going to get their legs on this? Maybe. It depends really of who's going to be borrowed from the Royal Rumble, because I only think it's going to be Mickie James. I don't foresee any of the other talents going over there. I think part of the reason why Vince reached out, and this is all speculation, it's all hearsay, it's all reading the dirt sheets and stuff like that, but I only think that Vince went with Mickie James and reached out to Impact is two very obvious reasons. One, we fired all the women because that's what he did. In the last year and change, so many have gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're contracting. You always say wrestlers are independent contractors. Well, here it goes, and you're just borrowing talent. And the other thing is that he knows who Mickie James is. She started in WWE, went to Impact, came back to WWE, was fired. So, it makes sense. It's not as if he's going to try to go for all the other wrestlers that are there. They're not going to go get Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, who were signed with Impact. They used to be in WWE. Now they have different names, but forgive me, I don't have all your names, down pat yet. Vince changes them. Y'all change them and have them. He's not going to bring in all the other former wrestlers. I think they have a little bit of bitterness in their mouth. They're not going to bring in just the Impact grown people either that were originally there. I think it's just going to be her. I don't think they're going to borrow any of the other women from there. I don't think they're going to borrow any of the men at all. Why would you, if half of them that you got were just released? Jonah, who used to be, oh man, now I forgot his name. Wow, you see what happens. You get old kids, you don't remember names. You go from there. It's Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed's not going to go back there. He's Jonah. You're going to have Steve Macklin, who used to be Steve Cutler on there. No, there's going to be people who are like, I got beef, and I ain't serving it to you. So I think it's going to be that one-time thing. If there is anybody else that's interesting, but here's the thing about Vince: he's not going to go for the high stars like Josh Alexander or Moose, or he might. I could see him getting Will Morrissey. So Morrissey is originally Big Cass from Enzo and Cass. So that's a possibility, but that's because there might be other plans to go from there. Because the backstory of that is Enzo and Cass were a tag team. They broke up because that's what Vince does with tag teams. He always breaks them up. And then Cass tried to do a solo run, one against Brian Danielson. Daniel Bryan, you see, I remember this time. Follow us on Twitter. It didn't go so well, and then he was released for reasons that came into it. Maybe if that's the redemption story. Fans love a good redemption story. I don't know if Vince likes a good redemption story, but I don't think on the main bit of the roster they're going to get those kind of people to go from there and build into it. But Impact's trying, man. Taking in the Ring of Honor talent, it's going to help Mickie James.
Puts the brand out there, I guess, right?
To a degree, because here's the thing. Are you really putting the brand out there if Mickie James, who is your current Knockouts Women's Champion, maybe she's acknowledged as the women's champion, but is she going to be able to bring in any TNA or Impact paraphernalia? She can be able to bring in the Impact Championship, the Knockout Championship. I don't think Vince would, man. He's like, this is strictly business and nothing more. That's Vince McMahon right there. He leaves you cat fare on the stand. I don't think he's going to let you get your benefit, your gain, your anything coming into it. But good for Impact for at least finding a way to actually utilize the pandemic to create the forbidden door and open. I hate the term. I get sick of it because everybody mentions it, but that's where we're going with that. Ring of Honor is still closed down. They intend to come back around April for, the honor card that they're going to do. More information on that when I find out about it. New Japan, they're just kind of like, filling itself
Impact
out.
Wrestling is going to be in Pembroke Pines.
Look at that for tapings. I don't know if I would go for Impact though.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't go to any of the wrestling stuff for Corona because I think that's just always going to be proliferated. That's why I skipped out and going to Miami for AEW and for WWE. AEW, let's go gears to that because it's going on right now. We know Moxley came back. Cody Rhodes is back. You already know that I gave my kind of thing about giving an interim title. I think I was only going to be back for a week. What are we accomplishing here? We're going to Hangman Page versus Lance Archer. I don't really want that, but sure, you need to kind of give Hangman some credibility. Lance Archer is a good, fantastic wrestler who's also a big boy, tall boy, not big beefy boy, but tall boy, the Murder Hawk. So it gives some diversity in your championship contenders. I still think I wanted Miro to be contending against Hangman, but who knows what the end game is. I assume at some point it's going to be Adam Cole, Bebe versus Adam Hangman Page, but whatever. You do what you want. You Tony Khan book the way that you got a book going. Are inconsistent with what they want as face and heels, and I'm a simplistic human being. I just need basic concepts and logic for wrestling. Good guy, yeah. Bad guy, boo. And Lance Archer has kind of flooded and flowed in and out of being a heel and a face, and that's kind of difficult to work with. So I can understand, I'm gonna beat up the guy because he's the champ, but are we beating up the champ because we want to create heat for the heel? To get the boo kind of, you have not done your job as a heel if you don't have a 7-year-old flipping you off. You failed, right? Or are we just having him beat up so he can say, I'm the number one contender? But this also creates another problem that is often forgotten, and this is going to be my criticism of AEW. Remember, they were going to do a ranking system, boys. It was going to be a ranking system, and it will tell you who your 1 through whatevers are and your number one contenders are. Lance Archer's been off the screen for a while since the championship eliminator match, and he had the concussion after doing a moonsault. Where has he done to vault himself to number 1 to be the presumed contender? If you want a boxing system, or if you want a UFC fighting system, you have to hold to it of rankings, guys. Just get rid of the rankings. It's been 2 years. People watch your show. You're breaking 1 million, close to 1 million every Wednesday. You're able to make a second brand. You have TNT money going on here, which will eventually find a streamlined deal to HBO Max. You'll be okay. You made my money off of pay-per-view. Congratulations. I'm very stingy. But get rid of the ranking system. Tag team championships, we're going to see. I don't know what's going on with Lucha, or not Lucha Express, but the Jurassic Express. I would just want them to go against Proud and Powerful, Santana Ortiz right now, but I can't get what I want. I don't know if I want Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho. You see rankings make no sense. Explain that to me. I don't know, because by default, why is Lance Archer, who's not even listed in the rankings, going against Hangman Page when it should be just Adam Cole or Dante Martin, right? Unless you're just telling me it's all made up and it doesn't matter. Is that wrestling? Don't say that.
Whose line is it anyway?
Yeah. Pretty much when you think about it. Maybe
everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Whose ring is it anyway? Maybe we'll create a new segment from it. But it's annoying to a degree. But that's just me nitpick. But They have a bigger build. Revolution, I think, is in March, so that's 2 months away. That's all I'm going to go on AEW now because I'll have more information later tonight when we do these live shows. So we'll shift it to WWE. Royal Rumble next week. Big beef patties beating the hell out of each other. Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns is going against his boy Seth Rollins now. I think I explained that on the last show, the knock on the Shield, like the Shield intro song. They have their little back and forths going on. That's interesting. But some other interesting stuff is happening is that they're going to have the setup pay-per-view of the Elimination Chamber is going to be in Saudi Arabia. I don't know if that was PR or PC of them to call that pay-per-view because it's always been Elimination Chamber, but where they're going location. I was like, maybe should have changed it. Who knows? But that pay-per-view, what they usually do is the Elimination Chamber is a structure where I believe it's 6 entrants go in there and you're randomly chosen, everything of that nature, and whoever is last for standing gets a title and whatnot. We're going to see what they do with that. Last year they had a couple of them, to which Drew McIntyre won after Claymore, AJ Styles, and then the other one was for number 1 contendership shot against Roman the same night. Roman choked out Daniel Bryan. That's where I remember. But the Royal Rumble, I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I could be invested into it. Next week is when I'll give you the predictions. We don't want to milk the cow too early, right? But we know what I'm excited for. Look at Bobby Lashley. He just looks like that. He will just murder you, and that's what you want sometimes. I love my technical wrestling. I love my wrestlers, but media men slapping me. I think Becky and Doudrop can actually be very good too. But I want to simmer down the predictions because I got some beef that I got to talk about. And it's going to be a very short cage because, since we're so close to the pay-per-view, I don't want to waste it. But NXT was last night. Vince and Bruce Pritchard have been overseeing NXT now. It's a change. It's a passing of the torch for better or worse. Trivia for Andrew, because he's asleep right now. Who had the match for Wrestler of the Year or Wrestling of the Year? What was match of the year? Who didn't tell wrestler-wise?
Yours or?
For my match of the year. For my superlatives.
I'm trying to remember.
It wasn't my wrestler of the year because it was already going to go to Brian Daniel.
I don't
remember.
I forget.
Okay.
Yeah. I pay attention.
It is Walter. Walter had 2 matches on my top list. And I love Walter. I love his style. He's a big old boy. Lost some weight, slimmed it down. Great technical wrestler. Everything came into it. Vince McMahon loves to just rename people. He loves to rename people because it's the copyright, man. He wants to own you. He wants to trademark it. He wants to get it from there. He wants to trademark the name. He wants to make your budget off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense when you have someone who's just recently signed. So Walter had a main event match against Roderick Strong last night. Fantastic match. It was so good. If you gave me that for 30 minutes, I wouldn't have enough Kleenexes to clean up everything. It was it was strong. It was, loud. It was violent. It was technical. It was engaging. You didn't want to turn away. We love Walter. Walter has been with the company for 3 years. He is your longest standing NXT UK champion. Vince is familiar with him because he was in Survivor Series about 3 years ago. So for whatever reason, after Walter beats Roderick Strong in a damn good TV match for free, kids, go watch it now. Walter gets on the mic. I'm like, uh-oh. Because Walter don't really talk, man. He's this big old Austrian. He don't talk. So he's like, and the winner is Gunther. So they changed his name
Gunther.
from Walter to the fat pig from Sing. Keep that in mind. 2, this is a man who's already been established as a wrestler. He has wrestled at takeovers. And he goes from Walter to Gunther Stark out of nowhere. So it's basically Vince was kind of like crossbreeding, watching Game of Thrones.
I'm loving the reactions here on Twitter. I ain't calling that man Gunther. His mama named him.
Gunther.
His mama.
Walter.
So I'm gonna call him Walter. Triple H finding out they changed Walter's name to Gunther. Michael Jordan.
So it's basically like if Vince watched an episode of Game of Thrones and followed up with a World War II historical drama of some sort. Because I'm like, why don't you just call him Adolf, Vince, if that's what you want to do? What has the thing I always told you about Vince McMahon? He's very stereotypical. This is the man who made Crime Time, which was 2 black men acting what I think he envisioned as 2 black men being a tag team as thugs. I'm like, bro, what? We don't need this. We don't need this in 2022. Why are we this? Why couldn't he just be Walter? Walter's thing was Walter all caps, like they're all caps. So just go Walter lower caps for all I care for. But it's so stupid because this man has existed on your roster for 3 years. It's not like Vince has a tendency of just shortening names. So Mustafa Ali, who requested his release, went from Mustafa to being Ali, now back to Ali, or Mustafa Ali. You get that every now and then. You know, Big E, the former WWE champion, was Big E Langston, not just Big E. You had the late great Luke Harper was Harper for some point. So I get that. Why don't you just call him Walt? I don't care, but you're going to call him Walter to Gunther Stark. What? Why? Because here's the hard part about wrestling too. If you have a dumbass name, I can't get over that. That's on entry, guys. That's on entry. And then they have Surrey, who now looks like a Sailor Moon cosplayer. I don't get it. I hate Vince. And then certain things happen. When I get onto I hate Vince mood because I think Vince is playing stereotypes. I don't need stereotypes exist. I don't need that in my wrestling. You know what I mean? Definitely don't, because I feel like if Vince had it his way, and I'm going to get attacked by everybody who loves that man, and even Vince McMahon myself, but if he had it his way, everybody would be what their historical backgrounds would be. You know what I mean? I think of Muhammad Hassan from years ago where they had him as like a terrorist leader. No shit. This is real stuff, guys. This is my problem with Vince McMahon. And he makes money off it. Why? Because y'all love the filth. And I watch wrestling too. I hate the characterization, but it's part of the business. It's dirty. It's dirty money.
Somebody should add him like a Street Fighter game or something like that.
I know. God damn it. But then you have ideas of characters that you absolutely love. Yeah, and right now, my strong romance for NXT is Wendy Chu, formerly known as Karen Q, who was faming of one of the groups that they have. Her whole gimmick, boys, is just she's like sleepy time nap. She's always in like her pajamas, and like she had her debut match as Wendy Chu last week, and it was a multi-woman tag team match with Persia Pirotta, Indy Hartwell versus Casey Canizaro and the other groups that are there. Wendy Chu was literally like sleeping in the middle of the ring, drinking from her thermos, and then when she's called in,
I see her. She's like out there on the locker room.
Yeah, and that was like yesterday, and that shit is so investing to me. I love it. I don't know if she can fully wrestle out to the degree of what we expect, because you're always going to be controlled by whoever is producing the matches. But I'm a sucker for characters. The same way as I was a sucker for The Fiend when Bray Wyatt was coming in. Y'all know I was big time on that. Sleepy Pajama Girl. It's cute. Like when she got tagged into the ring, she did like a yawning effect to avoid a clothesline. I'm like, God damn it. This is why I hate Vince McMahon, because it's not so much that I admire Vince's ideas. It's I admire the wrestlers who can take a character and a gimmick and make it work to my satisfaction. It's literally, I don't know if you guys are in the theater or the plays.
It's like slapstick
like
in a sense, you know?
Well, to a degree, but it's essentially like theater. Wrestling is a theatrical art where you'll have, and I'm trying, like, I don't want to, if you have Sweeney Todd, there's certain people who are going to be great for that thing, but you know, it's never the same person playing that character for such a long time, or Cats or Rent or whatever you want to call, you know, I'll just list you out for variety's sake, but there's always different actors who will come in at different runs to be that particular character. So there's some people who wouldn't work well with, so that's why I appreciate the wrestlers who could make that game work, because give Sleepy Time Pajama Girl to somebody else, maybe it doesn't click. So you get weird shit like this that I absolutely adore, and I can't fight it.
She looks like, what was it? The cat in Alice in Wonderland right there for some reason. I don't know why.
The Cheshire Cat?
Yeah.
Well, because, like, so the backstory is, like, there was just Brooks and Jensen. I don't know the team's name because they're still doing it, but there was a male tag team that lost the Dusty Club Classics. Oh, yeah, the Dusty Club Classic is going on. You know, whoever wins the best tag team get a title shot on Imperium. That's your storyline. I haven't made predictions for it because I'm not so much invested in NXT these days because of the changeover. Look, it's dead to me. The great run is dead to me. Now I will be there supporting some things. I am totally about Braun Breaker versus Santos Escobar, though. Put that in my veins. So it gives Santos his good match, his call up to the main roster where he has Legado following with him. And please, for love of God, Vince, don't fire him like you did Hit Row. You still did those dudes wrong. You got rid of Top Dollar. I don't care about that. But you got rid of Shane Strickland, man. You got rid of Swerve Scott, the same guy. That hurts my soul because I was talented, but I'll take Braun Breaker versus Santos Escobar any day. But maybe it is the injection. I don't care about going back to stereotypes. There's a wrestler named Tony D'Angelo who probably has potential, but he's portrayed to be like mafia affiliated. And I'm like, come on, man. I'm afraid of what's going to happen if Santos Escobar gets called up on the main roster. Were you saying that he's just Mexican cartel, bro? Because he is the drip king down in NXT, but Vince is that guy. He had the Mexicools. I told you. I gave you a spotlight on this, remember?
Yes,
or Hoodoo Guerrero Psychosis. So why are we reverting back into this by naming Dan Walter Gunther, man? Why'd you have to give him the fat pig from Sing? I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie, but damn it. Because Walter's kind of a chunky boy. And we love it, but damn it. Raw, SmackDown. Next week we'll have the predictions. It'll probably be an all WWE show because we usually have that when we have the big pay-per-views. AW come into it. And I think that's all I got for you right now. I hate you, Vince. There. That's how I'm ending my part of the show. Damn it.
Okay, well, we're ending with that. That was very interesting. That was very funny at the end. All right, folks. I think that's it for us. We'll see you guys next week, and I think I'll be better prepared next time. Yeah. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Take care.
And all the people should be raising their glasses. Flow crazy, celebrating the madness. I never thought I would deliver no classics. Then I hooked up with them and they delivered more classics. Yeah, I be keeping it true. Hotel good, long as I can peep on the view. Like, how are we? You gotta gamble in this life, Charles Barkley. Or Jordan, Borden. Fly now, cause you know it don't stop. So we rise and grind, they say the sky's the line. But the smart people know that it's not. I'm overprotected, do the dopest of methods. Now my vocal perfected.